fan, an Odyssey sports station.
It was amazing to do that. To do that on center court, Wimbledon, 2 sets down in front of this crowd is just like, it's a dream.
This is Dirt and Sprague.
There he goes, taking off for third, swing and miss, trouble on the transfer. He claims third base. It's a new Reds record for swipes before the break, and that's 15 times he has taken third.
Left-handed hitter, guy that's really fast, throwing the ball to third base. But the speed of Ellie De La Cruz makes you rush.
With Andy Dirt Johnson and Brandon Sprague.
It just depends. There it is. It hit the rim. There's a tap. Oh! You called it! Edie taps it home. Edie taps it in off the miss.
Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome in. Happy Tuesday to you. Dirt and Sprague here on Portland Sports Leader 1080 The Fan. 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app.
What is happening?
There you go. What's up, Schulte? Schulte's hanging out today. Swag's back.
Hi there.
What's going on, everybody?
I don't know.
How was the long weekend? Everybody have a good long weekend?
I did.
Yeah? A little extended
hot,
break,
it was good.
a little breather. Can't really do much when it's 100 degrees out.
No, I played a early round Friday morning. I played 9 late Saturday, like after the Dodger game.
Okay.
7:30 to 9.
Ooh, that's a late round. I like that.
Well, I was just a quick 9 holes.
Yeah.
The wife went to a wedding with some theater people. She's like, "You're not gonna know any. Don't
go.
Yeah,
Don't bother.
Thank you. I don't want to.
So I was like, okay,
Probably
fine.
better.
But no, the last 2 days just been watching a lot of Wimbledon.
There you go. Hanging out inside.
Just hanging out.
Not much to do.
Not much to do.
Everybody's trying to beat the heat, man. 101 today is going to be a little nuts.
I saw 103, 104-ish.
103, 104-ish?
Is that no longer? I mean, I know it changes by the hour.
I got no
the
clue.
app and whatever.
I
but
was watching the 11 o'clock news last night. It did say a 104-degree day, breaking all kinds of records again. And that is why I was at Seaside starting on Sunday.
Good weekend to go to the beach, or a good 48 hours to go to the beach.
I could not believe they had rooms available.
Yeah.
But there were for a decent price. It's not like I'm making like crazy big old Schulte radio money. It's like tiny part-time Schulte radio money. So I can afford a $150 night at the beach, and thankfully, like, the shack that we got was right on the beach, and it wasn't bad.
That's a hell of a deal. I saw this yesterday. I want to ask you guys this, because some of the responses threw me for a bit of a loop, and I don't know. I want to know where we all fall on this spectrum, if you will. Fox 12, our good friends at Fox 12 sent out a tweet. Shout out Nick Krupke.
Love Nick Krupke.
And they just asked, if you have air conditioning,
hey, Daddy Dirt,
what temperature do you set your thermostat at during a heat wave like this?
Well, ours is normally set at 72.
72?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now when it cranks up to 100, it has a little trouble keeping up. So
now, do you tick up the temp, though, or do you keep it at 72 and just let it overwork?
I let it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fairly new.
Sure, it should be
so
all right.
I'm like, okay.
I'm getting my money's worth here is
You
what I
know,
pay the
and
big
then
bucks for.
Now, last night it didn't cool off. Like last night we left it on all night because it was 70 when I got up to drive in. But if around 11 midnight, when whoever gets up to go to the bathroom notices that it's cooled off, we'll open the windows and turn it off overnight.
Makes sense. So 72 is the number of Jason Swigard.
Yes.
Okay, Schulte, what's your number?
We're a colder household. I can't do 72. I'm too fat, so it's got to be 70. Possibly as we get, kind of turning into the evening hours.
Deep down, I'm fat.
Yes, I am. And getting into those deeper hours when I know that the AC can keep up, I go to 69.
69.
I want to keep that
Nice.
house like an ice box.
Nice. Yeah, I'm in the same way as you. As a fellow fat, I am also a sub 70 guy.
There we go.
I was reading through. They had like 300 responses on this tweet. And the number of people that said that they set their thermostat in the 80s blew my mind. And I just want to know, how do you survive with that? Like, I saw, so PGE was doing this, like, they do like a rebate thing when it's super hot or super cold. And if you don't use as much energy, you can get a little kickback on your bill.
It's called peak time.
Peak time, right? And they send you a
Yeah.
text if you got PGE. They're like, hey, tomorrow from 5 to 8 p.m., it's going to be peak time. And I remember, because I've never had air conditioning until I moved into the house that I'm in now. In my entire life, we had like window units and stuff, but it's the first time I've had central AC, baby. And
what a blessing.
I am using that thing. I'm burning that thing to the ground. And so one of the first years that we were at the house, there was a hot day, and I got the text. I'm like, hey, this would be smart, honey. We didn't have a kid yet at the time. Like, let's save a little money. Let's see what we can do to save some money with their peak time rebates. Let's be smart. Let's be ethical and responsible. And for the 3 hours, I kid you not, I ran
a sweat box.
I ran no appliances, no washer, no dryer, no dishwasher, no nothing. I turned the televisions off. All the lights were off. I kicked up the AC to like 76, which for me is like I'm boiling in there.
That's a sauna, bro.
I'm sweating. I got ball sweat. It's not good, dude. It's not. Nobody's having a good time.
No.
And I'm like, you know what though? This could be great. We're gonna like save half our PG bills. It's gonna be awesome. And the next day, I got a text or an email from PG that was like, congratulations, you saved $1.24.
Yes, screw that.
And I thought, I'm never doing this again.
No.
If you want me to be miserable for a stretch of time in 100-degree weather, you need to make it worth my time. If not, I'm setting that thing at 69, and I'm not moving off my number.
Worth $1.25.
I am not moving off my number.
I tried that at one point when we moved into our new place to like sign up for I'll try to be environmentally conscious. And every time that peak time thing comes on, I just nope, right back to the tip. I'm like, why did I set this up? I need to go turn this off. Too lazy to do it. So
I saw that there is something in the news yesterday too that they now have. If you have like a smart thermometer now, I guess a new one or there's new technology behind it. They have the ability now to go into your house and change the heat and cooling settings.
No.
PG does?
They can go into smart thermostats and
because Big Brother's not watching.
Bump you up a little bit. If you keep it at 68, they can bump you up to 73 if they want. Now, you have the ability in home to override it, but if you're not home or if you don't pay attention or you didn't notice, like they have the ability with some thermostats to just, go ahead and boot you up 4 or 5 degrees, all right? What, are you comfortable right now? You like being comfortable? I don't think so, man. Somebody said 78 when I go to work. So that makes sense. When you're not at the house, I totally get it. 62 at night before I go to bed. Ooh.
I mean, we've got 2 cats. I can't leave that at 78. And
78's a little hot.
62. That's a little. They're gonna be freezing their little booties off.
That's a little more.
Yeah,
that's
gonna. I think leaving it something constant is going to be a little easier on the AC unit, but if you try to really crank it up at some point,
because even when if it's super hot,
it's never going to get down there.
No, it won't get down to. I would
Playing
imagine
a dangerous
it won't get to 62.
game.
Yeah, can this thing go that low? Like even if you set it to 78 during the day, that thing is still cranking during the day to keep it 78.
Yeah.
When it's 103 degrees outside, like it's still cranking to get down to.
Like
78.
if at 70, it would get up to 74, 75.
Yeah,
and also the afternoon, evening sun comes in. That's where we get it in the living room area.
Sure, certain pockets of the house get hotter at certain times of the day.
Can I say with love that the 80+ degree setting on the thermostat sounds like the most hippie Portland thing that I have heard in at least 24 months. You've got to be freaking kidding
At
me.
that point,
How do you survive?
Just get fans. Just have ceiling fans and box fans going at that point.
What's the point of air conditioning?
If you're older and you got poor circulation, and the house is usually at 78 anyway, whatever.
Sure.
But
that person has many problems beyond not wanting to keep their AC low enough. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to be like, hey, can I get something to drink? And they're going to offer me like water with no ice. Oh, can I get some ice? We actually don't have any ice in this house. What the hell kind of place is this?
Well,
where have I arrived? Oh, I'm in Portland.
You're in Europe.
At that point. Okay, so I'm in Europe Light here in Portland.
Yeah, Diet Europe. We're in Diet Europe for sure.
Yeah,
definitely Diet Europe.
Yeah. No ice.
No ice.
No deodorant.
No, nothing like that. We don't need to smell good. My parents are kind of this way. Now, they're not like 80-degree people, but I think they're just older and warm-bodied, and so they don't need air conditioning that much.
Okay.
They finally got it for the first time like 3 years ago after that, like
not just a window unit?
No, they got central AC.
They got central AC.
And every time I still go over there in the summer, I'm like, you guys want to turn it down?
Turn it on.
Is
it working?
We got it. It works.
Yeah.
Can you use it?
Can we turn it? It's a little hot. Now, they got a 3-story house, too, so the upstairs is like just hell in the summer.
Yes.
You cannot go upstairs for like a month out of the year. It's like you got to be basement or main floor. Those are your only options. You can't go up there. And they are kind of that way. Now, they don't set it to 80. I just think they're like, we're not going to use it today. And they seem to be fine with that. They come over to my house and they're probably freezing their butts off. So everybody has a different, regulating temperature, but yeah. I'm all about keeping it cool, baby. I don't care about the 100.
No, ditto. You got to keep me on the chilly side. I'm always going to pick the chilly side. And then when it comes to my dad, I do believe him and my stepmom, they don't mess with the AC as far as trying to like pick a temperature. They just leave it on because they've experienced just too many like coming home to a hot house days. They've worked weird shifts and they'll arrive at like 11 a.m. and they're like, it's baking. Okay, no, I need this on.
No.
But they are so weird in the wintertime. They will not turn the heat on until like a certain date in October or November. So like if you live over there, you're wearing a sweater. And that's where they believe the savings are.
And I'm okay with that. That's the way that I am. And this is where I don't feel as bad about running my AC as often as I do. Like in the winter, I don't know if I ever turn the thermostat in my house above 66 degrees.
Really?
Yeah. I love it chilly. I could put on a pair of pants and like a long sleeve t-shirt and be perfectly comfortable and fine when it's 66, 67. That's all that I need.
We've got a gas fireplace, so we kind of cheat.
Sure, you can use that.
Yeah, it keeps it downstairs.
Get a little side of the house warm. Well, I hope everybody out there is beating the heat. It's going to be the hottest day of the year today. And you said Matt Zafino claimed that this is the longest stretch of 90-degree days that we've ever had?
Yeah, the longest stretch of 90-degree days in the Portland metro area. And as you said, individual records being broken everywhere. 103 down in Eugene and Salem.
Holy hell.
I think the recent, which was, I'm talking 1945 recent, was like 100. So 80 years later, we're busting that.
We did it, guys. We did it. We're breaking records every day. Happy Tuesday. Sprague's out again today. He will be back tomorrow. And then we're off on Thursday. We're doing a best of Thursday for the Fan Golf Classic.
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of the same stuff you heard last Thursday.
I love, by the way,
last Friday, I should say.
We do have. We need to address this with Sprague here. We need like the full group together. But we heard Jason Swigard that in voicing the parts for the best of show, there were lines in there that you said, "I'm in here grinding away with you on a Friday morning."
It's the magic of radio.
You liar!
That was my favorite thing that I heard yesterday.
Did you hear the,
Ortner said he was playing them, and there was little swag lines in there like, I'm in here grinding away, 5th of July, just with you guys, let's get to work.
No, I was out at Forest Hills.
Yeah, you're damn right you were. It was Friday morning. Let's go.
Oh, I was 3 holes from having a great round. I had 2 triples and a double on the front 9 for no good reason. Other than that, was playing well.
Outside of that, you were good. Outside of that, 15 holes of golf. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Cap it right there. So Sprague will be back tomorrow, and then Fan Golf Classic on Thursday. Today on the show, we've got a bit of a hodgepodge. We're kind of all over the map. Bill Riley's going to join us coming up at 7:30. He is the voice of Utah. It is Big 12 Media Days today. They begin. They're starting. It's Big 12 football season, baby. So we'll preview the Big 12 and Utah, who is now going to the Big 12, and they are the favorite to win the conference in year 1. So that'll come up at 7:30. The Blazers, after what I saw yesterday, should go 0-82 next season. There is zero reason to win a game because there was somebody who looked very good against the best players in the NBA. And 0-82, please do not win a game. So we got a whole lot to get to. We're off and running. Thanks for being with us on a Tuesday morning. Back after this on 1080 The Fan.
It's The Fan on demand.
They're kind of fun.
The Fan.
All right, some thoughts on the Vancouver Ford text line. In-laws own an HVAC company. It's actually best to leave the AC at a range to relieve stress on the unit. You don't want to just leave it at 72 because your unit's always stressing to keep up. Best to leave it in a 5 to 6 degree range. I'm assuming that means like turn it up and turn it down kind of day throughout the day. Also, to ensure the long-term health of your unit, you do not want the house temperature more than 20 degrees the temperature set more than 20 degrees than it is outside for extended periods of time. That's not happening this week. That's
This week.
I'm not doing like.
Well, what is an
long-term health
period of time?
Yeah,
that's
3 days, a month. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm in Phoenix and it's 140 out all summer, that's a different equation. This is, we're talking 4 or 5 days here. Is that too long? I just not setting it more than 20 degrees lower than it is outside. So you're telling me the lowest I can go right now today is 83? 83? Yeah. I can't do that. I can't survive.
If you're in an area where like Phoenix or Las Vegas, where I'm pretty sure in 2024 they still sell swamp coolers, which is like basically like a rat's ass version of an air conditioning. It's not surprising that you're going to hear about ACs breaking down constantly, but here in the PNW where we're looking at a few days every once in a while of 90 plus degrees.
Yeah, you get a week here, week there. That's all you get in the summer.
Of course, you can still blow your AC up, but the potential, I am assuming, and I'm assuming the HVAC guy would confirm this, or the in-laws that he has that know this, that it's probably, the potential isn't as bad here, right?
Okay.
I would hope.
I would hope, because if it is bad, then my AC unit's going to crap out today, and I'm not going to be very happy about that. With the 5-month-old at home, not having the house somewhat cool for him to take a nap is just not, it's just out of the question.
I would be right at my dad's. I would be right out. Like, nope, we're gone.
I just hope the AC in the Hops Press box is cranked up, ready to go tonight. It's
going to be hotter than hell. Can I throw a random NBA question at you guys to start the show today? This is in the notes. I did not get to it yesterday.
Give it to me, baby.
Zach Edey for Rookie of the Year?
No, we will get to Summer League hot takes. Don't you worry. Summer League hot takes are on their way.
Double in his debut.
The ugly guys have to work so much harder.
DeMar DeRozan to the Kings, does it do anything for you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
As in the Kings are like a relevant, they got a shot.
They will be more consistent. So if De'Aaron Fox, if some of their 3-point shooters aren't having a night, you've got a guy now that you can go to if they are double teaming Sabonis. Sabonis is a great passer out of the post. The problem is he doesn't have many options, and now if DeRozan hits the short porch on the opposite baseline, willing to cut baseline, those sorts of things, and then Fox and Murray space the floor shooting threes. Now defensively, I got to make decisions because there's 3 or 4 guys out there that can go for 25 on any given night.
That is true.
And so now the question for them is then can they build enough of a bench where those guys don't all have to play 38 minutes a night for 82 games to win 45 to 50.
Okay. Are you on that same line of thinking, Schultze?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah?
I actually think this puts them in the top 5 of the Western Conference, just kind of early predictions, because they now have a bunch more weapons in total. Domantas Sabonis, it was so cheap to acquire him a few years ago, and now he's blossomed into one of the best talents in the NBA. So they've really, I feel like, have kind of gotten in on some of this talent before it's gotten there. And with Mike Brown at the helm, I mean, I never understood why it didn't work out with LeBron. I love his X's and O's ability as well as his rah-rah. I feel like, Doc Rivers is just the rah-rah coach, but Mike Brown's both. He really has that NBA ability. And, man, Keegan Murray coming off the bench, too, what we hope Chris Murray is here in Portland. Like, I think that Sacramento now, with that 3-and-D wing option that Portland always wanted, that we're trying to get when Damian Lillard was in town and just could never give up enough for him, now with I know it's some money, but it seems like the Kings didn't really have to give up much for him. Duarte and Harrison Barnes, some cash, a couple picks.
Yeah, they were ready to move on from Barnes anyway.
No, well, he's on the downswing. What, he's 32, 33. He's already averaging less than, 5 or 6 less than he was the year before. So no, they made the right move. And for the next, what's DeRozan, 34, 35? I would say for the next 3 years, they've got a window of being in the top 4, top 5 in the Western Conference with this core.
They still have questions defensively.
I think my issue with it, like, I don't disagree with what you guys are saying. So they were 3 games out of being in the top 6 and not being in the play-in last year. So the gap's not that wide.
I think they could make up. I think DeRozan's
and
worth
the Clippers could slip, right, without Paul
yeah.
George. I don't know what the Suns are going to look like. So there's question marks that are out there in the Western Conference. I think the issue that I had with it, because I saw it, I'm like, that's an interesting move. I get it. I think he had his options of where he could go, and he chose Sacramento, wants to stay on the West Coast, is just simply the idea of floor spacing. Because De'Aaron Fox is not a three-point shooter. He takes a lot, but he's not a high volume. Like he's I think it was 35% in his career. He's like 33%.
I'll be curious to see if they want to put DeRozan and Sabonis on the same side, on the strong side, or they separate them to try to stretch. If you have 3-point shooters, then, and so if they kick it out to Fox, that should open up some more lanes for him to get to the rim.
Yeah, a little more spacing out
late
there.
In the shot clock.
Because DeRozan's also not, I mean, it's a lot of mid-range guys. Yeah. Sabonis, Fox.
Well, that's why I say
DeRozan.
If he's on the short porch on the opposite side, 17, 18 feet on the baseline, you have to really decide, are we going to double team Sabonis, or do we have somebody that we're willing to leave on the island and just deal with it or not? If you have to double team Sabonis to slow him down, now the Kings, if they keep their eyes open and hold their spacing and then move the ball quickly, they should get a lot more open looks.
Okay, all right. So we're high on that move. I saw that this weekend, and it was one that just kind of got lost in the shuffle of my notes.
It gets them into the top 4, but it's certainly, I think they'll be more consistent night to night.
And re-signing Malik Monk was a big one, too, for them, because that was a move that historically you lose that guy in free agency. And
like I said, if they can get an 8-man rotation that will hold up for 82 games, then I could see them in the 45 to 50 win category.
I'm rooting for them. I know it's kind of weird, but I do want Sacramento to be good. That organization was so bad for so long. When they finally made the playoffs again, what was that, 2 years ago? Yeah. And they had that series against Golden State. I know they ended up losing that series, but it was fun to see them relevant again, and the fans finally having something to be excited about. They immediately went from being like, hey, we're the up-and-coming team in the Western Conference, to the very next year, they were the 9 seed and out in the play-in. And it's just like, where are we going to go? So credit to them. They almost fired their coach. To your point, Schultz, I agree with you. I love Mike Brown as a head coach. They almost fired him this offseason, so they tried to Kang it. They tried to go the Kings route. And they held back. They stayed reserved. They didn't fire their coach after one bad or down season.
Oh, let's go get James Borrego. Stop!
They re-signed.
Shiny new thing syndrome sucks.
Malik Monk, they got him back, and then they added DeMar DeRozan. So I'm rooting for Sacramento. I hope they're relevant next year. Paul George on his podcast, is it the podcast P? Is that what he calls his podcast?
I don't know.
It has his name in it, I think.
I don't know. Yeah. Just he needs to step away from a microphone.
Well, he
only puts his foot in his mouth.
He was talking about his decision to go to Philadelphia. I didn't pull the audio because I didn't, it was like 3 minutes long. But it was kind of funny because he went through the process of leaving the Clippers and the offers that he was given. He said it started at like 2 years, $60 million. That's all they were offering him. Mm-hmm. And he was pissed about that. Like, whoa, what? 260? And he's right in that regard. Like, he's still a good player.
Absolutely.
2 and 60 is an absolute low blow. And he said that was last year before the season. And then he said, as the year went on, he started to get better offers. The thing that everybody's having fun with is that in the podcast, he said, if you just get me to what you offered Kawhi Leonard, I'll resign. Because at that point, they had already re-signed Kawhi Leonard. And I believe Kawhi Leonard's contract...
3 years, $150.
3 years, $150. So he says, if you just get me there, I'll resign. If you just get me there, I'll resign. And then he goes on and on about how he stopped negotiating for a while. And then near the end of the season, they offered him 3 years and $150. And then he said, well, no, I wanted no trade clause as well on top of it. They weren't willing to do that. Then he asked for $4 and $200. They said no, that was too much. He thought maybe he could have still taken the 3 for $150, but he felt disrespected, and that's why he left for Philadelphia.
What a perfect transition as we go from the Sacramento Kings, who just showed their star player De'Aaron Fox that they want to win, that they want to keep him there long term, in the NBA where they could just see him go get his money anywhere else. No, they want to win there in Sacramento. It seems like LA is doing the exact opposite. Rather than paying the much better and on the court more often player, more consistently available for you, which the best ability is availability, compared to Kawhi, which you are even balking at giving the guy that's available in Paul George money. And that is just, I know it's Lawrence Frank running the Clippers now, and not Donald Sterling through Elgin Baylor, but wow, what a misnomer, what a misjudgment, what a huge mistake by Los Angeles to even start at 2 years 60. Does Paul George deserve max money? Not in my opinion, not close to, it's getting there, but not like, I don't know, 4 years, 212, maybe like 170.
Sure.
But we're starting to get a little crazy, and you allow now the free agent market to dictate what Paul George has instead of keeping him in the conversation with you and with you only. What a mistake.
I mean, that's a wildly disrespectful opening offer.
No kidding.
Like 2 for 60 for Paul George. For an organization, too, that has the richest owner in sports, just I don't really know what the plan there was, but maybe that was kind of their thought process all along, is we just don't really want him, and we need to kind of hit the reset button, and we're not going to win anything with these two guys, and that had kind of become clear. Kawhi isn't necessarily the one that I would want to build around. I don't think he's a leader, and I don't think he's the guy that can be the face of your franchise. He was able to win in San Antonio and Toronto by joining organizations that had good culture and all those other things in place. And so he didn't really create that out of thin air in LA, and I don't think he can going forward. So they're kind of in between a rock and a hard place, but offering him 2 for 60, it's a bad look, and I don't blame Paul George for leaving. It just was funny to hear him in like a 3-minute stretch say, if you give me 3,150, I'll resign. And then they offered me 3,150, and I didn't feel like I wanted to resign in the matter of a couple of minutes in his podcast. So there you go. A couple of NBA notes right out of the gate today. I did not get to the DeMar DeRozan stuff yesterday, and it was an interesting move. Good for the Kings. I'm glad they're making some relevant decisions, and they should be decent next year. How good? We'll wait and find out. We'll get to why the Blazers should go 0-82 at the top of the hour. I want to get to a quarterback and his takes on the NFL that are just perfect, and he should become the commissioner. That's next. First Year Swag with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan as the Trailblazers prepare for their first Vegas Summer League game this Saturday night against the Spurs. Other teams trying to fill out their rosters. The Heat bringing back guard Haywood Highsmith, 2 years, $11 million, all guaranteed, while the Pelicans grab veteran backup center Adam Thies on a 1-year deal. The NFL has suspended Steelers defensive back Cameron Sutton for 8 games for violation of the league's personal conduct policy. Sutton entered a diversion program following a domestic violence incident back in March. A surprise on the Golf World. PGA of America announcing Keegan Bradley will captain the 2025 U.S. Ryder Cup team for the matches to be played at Bethpage Black in New York. Many thought it would be Tiger Woods' time to captain, but he has passed at this point. Quarterfinal action at Wimbledon this morning. The men's draw, top seed Yannick Sinner taking on Daniil Medvedev of Russia. They are going to a tiebreaker here in the first set. The women's draw, qualifier Lulu Sun of New Zealand facing Dana Vekic of Serbia. Sun took the first set. They are tied at 3-3 in the second. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
It's The Fan on FM. Go to 99.9. This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back in. Happy Tuesday morning to you. It's hot.
Hooray!
Yeah, I know. This dude's the real deal. That's coming up top of the hour. Our buddy Bill Riley from Salt Lake City is going to join us. I'm assuming live in Vegas. I'm assuming he's there
I don't know.
as the play-by-play guy. Do they go to these media days?
Yeah.
Sometimes. It depends.
The Beavs and Cougs are having theirs this week, too. They're having their little evening thing, and they invited former players as well. I saw that yesterday.
Well, that's good.
TJ Hushmanzada and Steven Jackson are going to be there for Oregon State. I don't know if Washington State's doing the same, but I know Oregon State invited those two guys
What's
down.
Bledsoe doing at these?
Dude,
Get
come on
Bledsoe down there.
He's all over the place.
That's
Bledsoe's
cool.
flying all. He's doing his winery. He's on Roast to Tom Brady. That guy's global, man.
I
Get
know.
his ass to Vegas.
What better way to stay
Had the
relevant?
director of golf on from Wine Valley Country or Golf Club on the golf show Saturday.
It's on the bucket list.
Yeah, we may
on the
need
bucket
to
list.
plan something.
Little show field trip out there.
It sounds-
Twist my arm. Fine. I'll go do it.
Well, you get the value with the 3-day when you repeat and you stay over 3 days.
Yeah.
Then you get the value.
Good place to take the lady too. You
Yes.
kind of, like, hey, you go, you have fun. I'll have fun, you have
Plenty
fun,
of
and then we'll have
tasting
fun
rooms.
together, and then we'll go have
they've
our separate
revitalized
fun.
old downtown Walla Walla.
Hey, let's go get some onion rings. Joe Burrow was on Pardon My Take this week, and big season for him, by the way. Big season for Joey B. He's got to stay healthy.
He needs
man.
to play 16 games.
Yes, he does. And he was asked about the NFL scheduling, and I would like to nominate him for president of everybody because I think this is a great idea. Although I'm not sure about one aspect of it. So,
But I'm now the president of everybody.
exactly. We know the NFL is going to go to 18 games. Roger Goodell's going to get what he
yeah.
wants. He wants 18 games. They want
Yeah, it's
more
just
money.
a matter of what they got to
happen.
give the players.
Now, Burrow says if you go to 18 games, there should be 2 bye weeks during the regular season.
Absolutely.
Need 2 breaks.
Get rid of one of the preseason games.
Yes, get rid of one of the preseason games. That then, the added bye week would push the Super Bowl to
Yes.
the Sunday before President's Day.
President's Day weekend.
So then the Monday after the Super Bowl
Yes.
is finally a holiday.
Well, it already is a national holiday, but
Sure,
it
that's what I'm saying. It's
really becomes a national
really become
holiday.
a national holiday.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Super Bowl Day, bigger deal than President's Day. You know, we should just
It
rename
is.
the holiday. Just a hot take right there. So all of that makes sense. It's all great. What he wants, though, is to say, he said the second bye week should be around week 13 towards the end of the season. And he wants the Pro Bowl festivities to be that week. He thinks that they should schedule the game kind of an NBA All-Star, MLB All-Star weekend in the season, get everybody together, have it in a different venue every year, come enjoy a week of NFL shenanigans, and then we go back to playing. Are we pro or anti Week 13 Pro Bowl in the NFL?
That might be the best idea to fix the Pro Bowl. That seriously might be the best idea in, 20 years? Because our old idea was playing it in a tropical place, which now the stadium's condemned. We can't even go back there for another
They're
10
rebuilding
years.
it. It's going to be all brand new.
Oh, no, it's going to be amazing, but
Yeah.
there's going to be
It'll
time.
take a while to get there.
Exactly. So this idea, I mean, maybe in 2030 or whenever that's ready, yeah, bring it back to Honolulu and Aloha Stadium. But yeah, why not have it in Miami, then Seattle? All these awesome stadiums. And by the way, I will say in October, November-ish, beautiful time of year in Hawaii. So I think that would work. When we do get the Pro Bowl back to there eventually, week 12, 13, that would be amazing. But why not? What better way to keep it relevant and to keep guys actually in on doing an event than scheduling it sometime in the middle of the season as opposed to when half of them or more on
I
vacation?
don't know how owners go for this.
And would the guys play?
I don't. That's the first thing. Too. Are
Money,
you
money,
actually
money.
going to have
Yeah.
a game, or are you going to do what they're doing now? But I don't know how you can construct football activities without the risk of an injury. If somebody gets injured in the Pro Bowl when it's after the season, you have all off season to get
Yes.
healthy. The minute somebody of significance has a non-contact ACL injury because their foot gets stuck or something because they were trying to showboat, I just don't know how owners are going to risk it with 6 weeks to go in the season and the playoffs coming.
Right around the corner. Yeah. It's week 13. You'd have 4 or 5 games left.
Could we just let the sports chips fall as they may? Just once in our lives?
Not with that level of investment.
Never.
No, not for an exhibition game.
I see the argument, but no, it'll never happen.
When's the last time a major player got injured in a Pro Bowl game?
I have no clue. I can't remember the last time I watched a Pro Bowl.
What about in any MLB, NBA All-Star game? I'm thinking of like Ray freaking Fosse, right? Like Pete Rose kicking Ray Fosse at home plate back in like the 70s. When has this ever happened? I understand the fear. Fear's there. I mean, we've seen guys get injured in preseason. That's probably why we shortened it ultimately to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I would say that was as big of an argument as stretching out the season to 17 games and getting the owners more money. But come on, can we please let something happen and maybe allow some special feelings in and let fans enjoy something? Oh my God, the risk of injuries there every single time they step into the practice facility.
Exactly. So why are you then adding more potential days of risk?
Yeah, that's the tough debate. Like I see
if I'm investing that much money.
Yeah, and somebody goes down with a torn ACL in week 13. You're starting Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are the 1 seed in the AFC, and he's playing 7-on-7 football and tears his ACL. And
because they're trying to do something weird or funky. They're trying to put on the show for the fans. No, I don't.
I just don't know. Like maybe I'm alone on this.
And players mostly will want the week off.
Like the only all-star festivities that I enjoy or appreciate anymore is baseball. Maybe that's just me being an old white. I mean, it could be it, but it's
great because it actually resembles the game.
Well, it does,
and that's the problem that Adam Silver is having right now with the NBA.
They can't figure it out in the NBA.
It does not resemble the game.
No, and they push for the entire season to try and get those guys to play hard and to take it seriously and to give effort and all. And then the game came and it was like 192 to 195, and nobody cared. And just like, this is dumb.
78 threes attempted by it. No, it doesn't resemble the game. I actually like the NHL's. The All-Star, the skills competition is fun because I think the players take it seriously, and it's the All-Stars that are participating in all of the different skills. Yeah. So if you're selected the All-Star teams, then that's who goes into the different competitions, the skills competitions, as opposed to the NBA where you have the dunk contest and there's no All-Stars in the dunk contest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's an appetite for it. Like as a football fan, do I need this? Like would this make the football season more enjoyable and better? And I don't know.
I've never gotten a special feel from an NFL Pro Bowl ever.
No,
but I did get a special feel, or at least I guess as special it could be when the skills competition started. Watching Trevor Lawrence, watching these guys actually go out and do what they did in the NBA.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah.
That plus a flag football game, I think would be fine. And then if you're telling me that the owners are so worried that Lamar Jackson is going to tear his ACL during a flag football matchup in week 13, like we've got to adjust our priorities, okay? This is a huge marketing opportunity if done right.
I mean, the NFL always wants more money. I know
exactly.
That.
So.
Yeah. Well, they're sponsoring slot machines now, so.
Yeah, they are sponsoring slot machines. Somebody texting in the Paul George one in Team USA scrimmage. I remember that when his leg snapped. That was a big deal, and that led to a whole debate for a long time about how much should they be playing. Is the stanchion too close to the court? Like that led to an entire kerfuffle in the basketball world.
I'm all for going back to the buffer they had when we first came back from COVID. And they moved everything back.
Oh, you can't do that. Those seats are too expensive. Come on, Swigart. It's a business. You can't do that. You know that. We're not moving those seats out. How much those cost a game?
You better not.
I'm bringing in like 50 G's a night as a team.
The photographers do not need to be that close on the baseline.
That is true. That is definitely true. They could move up or move around or have limited access to it. That I wholeheartedly agree with.
Yeah, they're in a vulnerable spot. We could sell those for $5,000 more a seat a game. So get them out. Yeah,
sell the seats of people just sitting on the floor. $10,000 a night. Come on down. Yeah, this is interesting. I agree with the idea of 2 buys. I hope the NFL follows through with that. They won 18 games. They're not going to back down on this. We're going to get an 18-game schedule.
And I think you can.
And I love the way it impacts the schedule. I love the way that it kicks it out to President's Day weekend.
Exactly.
Like all of that is positive.
Give them 2 buys because this is what LeBron eventually got. That's why there's this big NBA All-Star break now when it used to just be the weekend. He's like, we don't get those of us that are the most important players players
We don't get a
that
break.
are playing in the All-Star game.
Give us a break.
And then we got to be there for press conference on Friday and then All-Star Saturday night and all this stuff. We don't get a break.
Yeah.
We need a break more than anybody else.
Yep.
Because we're carrying the damn league. And so then, and I see the NFL players. So the best players, all they're going to do is bitch and moan about, okay, I need a week after this.
Yeah.
I'm not getting an extra bye week as everybody else is.
Right. The best players end up being the ones that get penalized for it. What do you think? Would this be something you would care about and want to watch? 503-864-6326. That's the Vancouver Ford text line. You can let us know how you feel there as we're talking Joe Burrow's idea on what the NFL should look like for an 18-game schedule. It just feels good to talk football, man. It scratches my itch.
So close.
We're going to do it again in the next hour, and that'll be coming up at 7:30 with Bill Riley. We'll get to why the Blazers should go 0-82 at the top of the hour. We're back after this on 1080 The Fan.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back in. Get to Cooper Flag coming up top of the hour.
Stud.
Boy, oh boy.
Come on.
Was that-
Portland Trailblazers 0-82.
Was I feeling?
I'm just.
I had a full body boner.
Yeah,
for 2
I know. The
weeks.
problem is I got to live with a season of Duke talk.
Dude, I don't care. I don't care. I'm like, dude, I hate
The
Duke.
Blazers have not done well with Dookies they've drafted over
We
the
haven't done
years.
with a lot of people that we
Yeah.
drafted over the years.
Yeah, it's not just Duke guys. See Elliot
New York
Williams.
high school basketball
Zach
players, Ohio State centers. Do I need Kentucky centers? Do I need to continue? We've had a lot of guys that we've whiffed on over the years.
Weber State, I believe, is the best college for
Yeah, it's true.
Blazers
Anybody good
recruits.
ever coming out of Weber State, we gotta go snag them. That was something to behold yesterday. So we'll get into that a little bit. Also, Anthony Edwards comments. Another team is doing what the Blazers should be doing, but they still have not done. So I would like to get to that. Random note, I'm wondering, is this a big deal, little deal, no deal? We'll play that fun game. I talked a little bit about your Seattle Mariners yesterday, Jordan Schultz.
Ooh, I'm assuming it was all bad.
They lost 2 out of 3.
Yes.
Will Ortner told me they left 30 runners on base on Sunday.
So that was that's individual runners left on base. Basically, there are if I strike out and then you strike out, we both left the same 3 runners on base if the bases were loaded. So
Okay.
30 compiled with all the players' stats. Like JP left 7 on
Gotcha.
base himself while he was at
Okay.
bat. Cal left 5.
Okay.
15 runners total left
Total
on
on
base.
base. Okay.
In one freaking game, as well as
Say that. I was like, they had 10 hits. I don't know if that's mathematically possible.
count them 11, 12 more strikeouts. It was awful.
Not good. Bases loaded in the 10th inning. Couldn't
8th,
play.
9th, and 10th inning.
They had the bases loaded all 3 innings.
All 3 innings, they should have walked it off twice. This has been such a terrible season of Mariners baseball. I feel like I'm watching a last place Mariners team.
You're in first
And-
place.
Exactly.
You're in first
I
place.
am a lifelong Mariners fan, and I feel like I am watching the 2010 season where they fired John McLaren. All right? That's what I feel like I'm watching right now, because Joe Espada, and who is he? I don't know, and the freaking Astros are on their way to first place right now, just 2 games behind the M's.
Dude, the Astros are like a Michael Myers movie, man. They're just inevitable. It doesn't matter how they start. You look up, you're like, there they are. There's the damn Astros. They're
No,
not
the
going
big
away.
surprise is the Rangers. I didn't think there'd be that much of a fall off.
No, but you see the hangover. The note on the Mariners I wanted to get to was, and I don't even is this a big deal for Mariner fans? Katie Griggs was their president of business operations, and people are now joking. So the Baltimore Orioles were just in town. They took 2 out of 3. The M's basically couldn't score a run the entire series, and then she just bounced. She just left Seattle to go take the same job in Baltimore.
Yeah, 2 days later.
2 days after the O's came to town. So people were making the joke of so they came to town, took 2 out of 3, and took their president of baseball operations and said, peace, we're out of here. Big deal, little deal, no deal to lose a president of baseball operations?
I mean, so essentially, if you're unfamiliar with how Mariners operations work, Katie Griggs was the replacement for Kevin Mather, who basically had to put his foot in his mouth after that Zoom call with
that Zoom
the
call.
Seattle Rotary Club. Some pretty racist things about Julio Rodriguez, some very revealing things about Kyle Seager and how they are manipulating service time. But I digress. As far as this is once again the business side of things. So we're talking all the concerts, everything attached to, Mariners baseball and everything adjacent to T-Mobile Park. It's not the hugest deal to me. What it does say, as far as the move happening, but what it does say to me is, there might be some things happening in the front office that and there's always things happening in every front office, but there might be some things that aren't necessarily amazing that would make Mariners fans, I'm not going to say revolt, but we'd start to have some questions. This is now the second female employee in less than 5 years or 6 years, I believe. There was a head athletic trainer. I believe her name was Lauren Sanchez for the Mariners. Gosh, yeah. After a lawsuit ended up being lost by her, she had ended up quitting her job, alleged some sort of mistreatment, found not to be anything, at least in the legal world, towards her. But now this is the second instance where, and I believe Katie Griggs is one of 2 female presidents or executives in Major League Baseball right now, the other being with the Miami Marlins. So it's just it's causing me pause, but once again, this isn't baseball operations.
No,
but
this
it makes
doesn't have anything to do with on the field.
it makes me wonder if there is something going on.
What
in the
else
front
is happening
office.
there?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of when I remember when Chris McGowan just randomly left the Blazers, and you're like, oh. It's a pretty good gig. Why would you just randomly leave? That doesn't. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then all the Neil O'Shea stuff came out.
All the discourse.
But I'm told that working for Jody's just wonderful, and everybody wants to do it. And she's great. She's a great owner.
Well, remember, the Mariners do own Root Sports as well.
They do. That's not going very well right now, Bob.
And John Stanton, I know, is having talks pretty much every week with GM Jerry DiPoto or President Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander, GM, about how they have or how much money they have to spend.
Yes.
So it's definitely a tumultuous time in Seattle right now.
Well, that happened yesterday. I saw that the Mariners lost their president of baseball operations, Katie Griggs. She said, "Peace. I'm going to Baltimore." One quick note from the listeners as well. So we're talking about the Pro Bowl idea and would you want it in Week 13? And I think you would ask the question, Schulte, has anybody ever seriously gotten hurt? How has that ever happened before?
Well, you had the beach football one where
so that was
guy
one I totally
wrecked
forgot.
his knee.
That
was
fair,
the Patriots running back.
Long time ago. Robert Edwards.
Yes.
In 1999, he was at the Pro Bowl. They were playing a beach. It was basically a rookie beach bowl. So it was
something like that.
It was the rookies of the best rookies in the league win. So you're talking 99. So like Peyton Manning was there. Charles Woodson was there. It's fun reading through this article of some of the names. He was guarding R.W. McQuarters. You remember that name from Flashback?
Ah, wow.
And so he basically jumped up to try and defend a pass from Charlie Batch, another great throwback name.
Charlie Batch.
And he shredded everything.
Yep.
He tore all three ligaments in his knee, his ACL, MCL, and PCL. He partially tore his LCL tendon as well.
Oh, my God.
Suffered major nerve damage. And on top of all that, he sliced the artery in his left leg.
Well,
so now that's it. Look, you're going to the extreme of all extremes. And that was a football game on sand, to be fair, which whose dumb idea was that?
I'm looking at the beach, Waikiki Beach and Queens Beach, where this game took place. This is sand. This is not Aloha Stadium. Why do you think athletes that normally run on grass would do well running on sand? What the hell?
So I wanted to add that because we had asked it, because I couldn't remember one off the top of my head. That was 1999. I was 10 years old, so I don't remember this vividly.
And really quickly, why not? Hey, pitchers pitch in the MLB All-Star game at 99 miles an hour. Why not throw a system in where you can have a starter play 4 series and then done? Then you get to see more names in the All-Star game or the Pro Bowl. You get to see everybody hanging out like you do it in all the other leagues, because that's, I think, the special part for me, kind of seeing these guys just having fun.
Yeah, just being around.
Yeah, shooting the S, like, all the video cameras back in the day at the Home Run Derby, everybody getting their memories. So I think that's the special part of it, too. Why not get everybody together, implement some rules? Baseball does it. Step up, athletes. Put your money where your mouth is. You could get injured. Very, very tiny chance. Let's do a Week 13 Pro Bowl, baby.
To be fair, I just argued the same thing yesterday with Scoot not playing in Summer League. Like, what are we doing? Like, he didn't have a very good rookie year. He should be playing. You could get hurt working out. I'm not a huge fan of that idea.
All the reps he can get. He needs all of those reps.
I agree with you there. We got a lot to get to in hour number 2. Bill Riley is going to join us, the voice of Utah, because it is Big 12 Media Day, and they are the favorites to win the Big 12. They also scheduled a game against our good buddy Mario Cristobal that we need to ask Bill Riley about, because that's I remember the last 2 times Kyle Whittingham played Mario Cristobal, and it did not go well for my fandom. So we'll see if they can do it again in 2027. So Bill Riley coming up at 7:30. Another team is doing exactly what the Blazers should be doing, but will they do it? The mail sack's coming up at 8:15, which we forget every week. So get your questions in 503-864-6326. We'll answer them in the final hour of the show. Let's start though with the reason the Blazers should go 0-82, and does where he's going to college, does that affect your fandom of him? Because it might for Swag. We got a loaded second hour next on 1080 The Fan.
The Fan.
I'll just roll it out into the river. Not the river.
An Odyssey Sports Station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, Trailblazers getting ready to head to Vegas. Their first Summer League game will be Saturday night, taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Other teams trying to get their rosters filled out. The Heat will bring back Gardner Hayward, Highsmith on a 2-year, $11 million contract, all guaranteed. Pelicans trying to shore up the bench. They get veteran backup center Adam Thies on a 1-year deal. After spurning the offer to take over the Lakers earlier this summer, UConn Huskies men's basketball head coach Dan Hurley agreed to a 6-year, $50 million contract extension on Monday to stay in Stores, coming off back-to-back national championships. Surprise in the golf world, PGA of America announcing Keegan Bradley will captain the 2025 U.S. Ryder Cup team for the matches to be played at Bethpage Black. Many thought Tiger Woods was in line to become the captain. Quarterfinal action at Wimbledon this morning in the men's draw. Top seed Jannik Sinner took the first set in a tiebreak over 5th seed Daniil Medvedev, but he is serving down a break 1-3 in the second. Women's quarterfinals going to a third set. Qualifier Lulu Sun from New Zealand and Dana Vekic from Serbia. Vekic up a break 2-love now in the third. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's The Fan in your office and every room of your home. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
One day, some of the kids from the neighborhood carried my mother's groceries all the way home. You know why? It was out of respect.
This is Dirt and Sprague.
The most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from. So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody or you're nobody.
With Andy Dirt Johnson and Brendan Sprague.
A month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
Too late, they start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer again with you.
Dirt and Sprague on 1080.
Me, I always tell the truth, even when I lie. So say good night to the bad guy. Come on, the last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again. Let me tell you.
The Fan.
Hey, let's do this. Hour number 2. Welcome back in. Dirt and Sprague here on a Tuesday morning. Hope your mornings are going great. Beating the heat. We got all sorts of good AC advice earlier in the show. Started off with some nice cool air talk when it was still cool at 6 o'clock. It's probably up to about 94 by now. So hope you don't have too much ball sweat going on if you're working outside. It's going to be hot.
The commerce going on at like 8 a.m. or 5 a.m. this morning looked like it was going on at like a normal 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. part of the morning because everybody was already awake.
The toughest part for me about the heat is I'm very, especially now with a 5-month-old at home, like I am very regimented with my schedule. I have to be kind of psychotic with it. I can't just like loosey-goosey, like, oh, we'll go to bed later tonight. Like I can't do that. I got to be, this is my schedule and I have to stick to it because I'm not a morning person and I hate waking up early, but I love this job and here we go, right? So the hardest thing for me is like trying to do things in the evening, but not having it cool off quickly enough. Like I was out watering my backyard last night at like 7:30 because it's like at some point I got to get this done because I got to go to bed. Yeah. And it's still like 98 degrees outside. And I'm like, is this even doing anything? Do I just give up at this point? Because I'm not staying up till 11 o'clock at night to water my lawn.
No, you need to turn on the water when you leave in the morning.
I do that. I do that. But you're supposed to water at night and in the morning. You're supposed to kind of double entendre it. I don't like using the sprinkler system that much because it's an expensive-ass bill. And it feels like a wasteful thing. I'm already running my AC into the ground. I don't want to do that with two different things at the same time.
Water and air conditioning.
So I'm out there with the hose trying to just douse everything down, and I'm like, dude, it's 98 degrees still. It's just doing any. Then you can't open the windows because I'm not up late enough. I don't want to open them early enough. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Man.
I even wondered if I should open the windows leaving the house this morning, but I'm like, no, because it's going to be like 4 or 5 degrees hotter in an hour anyways. So I'm just going to torture my wife and maybe make the house hot again. So no, I just left things as they were. And yeah, after 4 or 5 days, the heat just kind of radiating up from the cement leaves us where we are. It sucks.
We need a break. Thankfully, it seems like we're getting it tomorrow. It's almost here. And I'm just glad that we don't have to work outside. Shout out to everybody who actually has to suffer through this. And I get to sit my fat ass in air conditioning. And I'm quite happy about that. Somebody asking on the YouTube live chat, and I want to shout this out because we're going to do it anyways to start the second hour. Don't forget, folks, if you watch on YouTube, you can click the QR code, and it sends you right there. It's really cool. But the Fan merch locker is up. Go check it out, 1080thefan.com. We got show-specific T-shirts. The ones that we're really pushing is the Mike Lynch shirt. Now, somebody asks, why does it say take a swinge for Mike, not knowing the full story behind that? We used to have these code word things that we would get from corporate. You have to do every hour, and you'd say, okay, text in the code word, and the producer
would do it.
You'd have to read out the code word, and you would have to spell it out. And his code word for the hour, for that hour that he was doing it, was swing, S-W-I-N-G. And he accidentally said J over the air, and it caused a whole thing, and everybody had a great time with it, and so it kind of stuck. Take a swinge. And so that is the theme of the shirt. He was unfortunately diagnosed with ALS. We love Mike. He is fighting like hell. And all of the proceeds or the profits from those shirts go directly to Mike's GoFundMe account. They're only $25, so go check them out, 1080thefan.com. But that's the backstory if you missed it on why. It says swinge, take a swinge against ALS to help Mike Lynch. It's a really good cause, so go check that out. 1080thefan.com. Boys, I'm starting to try and get into Team USA stuff a little bit. Olympics around the corner. Anthony Edwards had some comments that I love, rubbing people the wrong way.
I love Anthony Edwards.
I love Anthony Edwards. He is the absolute best. Before we get to him and his comments, though.
Yes,
I had a full body boner for
all
2
the
weeks.
buzz was for Team USA Select, not the Olympic team.
It was about Cooper Flagg. If you want to see highlights on why the Blazers should not win a single game this year, go check out Ben Golliver. And I will also shout out Ben Golliver, who we had on a YouTube overtime many moons ago. Actually, not that long ago. It was like 2 months ago. But we had him on YouTube overtime, and we asked him about Cooper Flagg. And he had just done a feature piece on him. He interviewed his family. He was like, this dude is he was joking about tanking and how extreme the tank should be. This is the kind of guy that you don't want to win a game for. And I was watching this yesterday. He was knocking down threes. He had a possession where he was guarded by Drew Holiday. Somebody set a screen and Anthony Davis was on him, and he knocked down a three over Anthony Davis. He was hustling with like putback dunks and putback layups. The dude looked like the absolute real deal. And I had a take yesterday. It's funny how quickly things can change. We were talking about Jeremy Grant and the Lakers and should he get traded and how many first-round picks. Right? The Blazers are holding out. They want 2 first-round picks for him. They haven't made the move yet. And I said, that's good. That's the right move, right?
That's smart.
That's smart. You don't want to just give him away. If Jeremy Grant's a good player.
He's worth 2 first-round picks.
Arguably, 2 first-round picks. Don't disagree with that. I think I'm backing down on that take, though. Because Jeremy Grant is not going to put you over the top by, like, you're going to compete. But he might be good for 3 or 4 wins next year. Okay. And what's more important, not winning those games or getting a 2031 first-round pick from the Los Angeles Lakers, because we're haggling over a 2029 and a 2031 first-round pick. Do you get both or do you get one? And I'm now of the thinking after watching Cooper Flagg and reminded again of, dude, if you don't finish with one of the 3 worst records in the NBA, and I know Blazer fan gets pissed. Like, it doesn't guarantee you're going to. I understand it doesn't guarantee anything.
Shut up.
You need the highest percentage chance to get the number 1 pick, okay? The highest percent. And there is an even breakdown between the worst team, the second worst team, and the third worst team. If you do not end with one of the 3 worst records in the NBA next year, your season would have been an absolute failure.
I am literally rethinking my entire Blazers strategy for this season. I you know what? Hearing you say that, Dirt, I am okay with the Blazers getting fleeced on everything. Fleece them, leave them with Justin Minaya starting and Scoot Henderson coming off the bench, but only for 20, 30 minutes. I'm kidding. You need him to develop. But what you do need to do, what I do not want to see this year is, say the Blazers are down by 1 and they have the ball with 5 seconds to go to maybe make a game-winning shot. Don't do it. Airball that S. Send somebody from the crowd in to take a 3. It should not be near the basket. Yeah. There is no way, shape, or form that you should be trying to win a game this season. You're right. And getting to what we're about to talk about with the Cooper Flagg highlights, I wish that we could visualize it somehow for people on the radio, because it is literally amazing what he did. Just the speed, both ends of the floor with the knowledge that he has, and he's already 6'9" and only 17 years old. Oh my God.
He's a real deal.
The Blazers need him yesterday. Everybody's going to want him. but stop it. 0-82, let's go. I'm on
Win a
board
game.
with dirt in the tank.
Don't win a game.
Don't win a game.
That should be the whole goal for next year. Like, this was my larger argument for this past season that frustrated me. It's not necessarily the whole thing of, like, you can't win with Dame and it's time to move on. Like, they handled it terribly, and they did him dirty by lying to him for 2 years, and that ruffled my feathers a little bit because he deserves better than that.
Yeah.
It's just the idea that you have had one toe in and one toe out of the water, where you're trying to say this is a restart and this is a tank, and okay, I'm fine with that. I mean, it might take you a while. You got to make sure you hit on your picks, but I understand the argument behind the strategy. It's the fact that you have these guys who are relevant, good players, and you're pushing for wins. You have a head coach who is caring more about winning games during the regular season than he is developing his young guys. And that's where it grind my gear, chat my ass last year. And it pissed me off because you can either have one direction or the other. You're either developing guys and saying we're playing young, we don't care about wins and losses, or you're playing Malcolm Brogdon late in games over Scoot Henderson because you care about winning a random game of the regular season. Whatever, dude. This last year's draft sucked. You ended with Klingon. I'm okay with that. Like, whatever. That's a fine outcome. If that happens again next year and you're still, like, Jeremy Grant's still on the team, Anthony Simons is still on the team, you don't move DeAndre Ayton at the trade deadline, and these guys lift you to 4 or 5 more wins, we are 2 years removed from going on a 4-game winning streak at the end of the All-Star break, or the first half of the season, when Blazer fans were cheering and all excited, and I was the Debbie Downer, was like, what are we doing? Is the whole point of this is to tank, and we lost Victor Wembanyama by 1 ping pong ball. 1 ping pong ball. How different does everything in this city feel if you had one more Damian Lillard's still a Blazer.
Yep.
And he is building towards a championship with maybe the best young player we've ever seen in the history of the NBA, and the guy who is now like a minus 400 to win Defensive Player of the Year next year in the NBA. That is the margin for error that you were dealing with. So finishing with a third worst record in the league does not guarantee anything. I fully understand that, but you have to give yourself the best odds. Next season, you are going nowhere. And if you end up winning random games and Blazer fans are cheering and you got these vets that are still on the team, I am going to lose my S next season.
And now, 2 things can be true in the world of sports, but it's going to be basically a choose one here. And I think it's literally developing Scoot Henderson and maybe missing out on a draft pick a little bit more, giving him the potential to be a little bit better, but just a little bit, or tanking and getting a guy.
See, and I think they can both go hand in hand. Scoot and Shaden are not, I don't think, ready to play winning basketball.
No, but I don't want to see them hitting game-winning shots. I don't want those encouraging moments, because then you're missing a 17-year-old that's banging 3-pointers over Anthony Davis, baseline turnarounds over Drew Holiday, and stealing and getting fouled on a layup at the end to complete a 3-point play by Bam Adebayo. He's 17, and he's 6'9", and he's doing this. What are we doing, Portland? Get him here yesterday.
Trade everybody. Schultze's fired up today. I haven't even brought up Bronny yet, man.
Oh, don't get me started.
I haven't even brought up Bronny yet.
I'm not sure we can do a Bronny segment because I'm going to scream you out of the studio, brother.
So go watch the Cooper Flag highlights if you want to get excited. It's awesome, dude. I am fired up, and
I had a full body boner for 2 weeks.
Lose all your game. Please lose all your games next year. Please do it, Blazers. This is your opportunity. This is your golden ticket. Don't screw it up by having random vets on the roster next year. So I think I've already flip-flopped. I've already gone John Kerry on my Jeremy Grant trade take. Don't hold out for 2 first-round picks. Lakers, you can have them. If it means four more losses next year, you can have them, Lakers. I'm all
5
for it.
seconds. We'll take it.
Bill Riley coming up at the top of the hour. We'll talk some Utah football as Big 12 Media Days, bottom of the hour, as that's coming up. And we'll talk some Big 12 Media Days as Utah is the favorite to win that conference. Millsack in about an hour from now as well. I'm going to get to a TV note out of sports because it's another team doing what the Blazers should be doing. And Anthony Edwards with some strong comments. How are we getting excited for Team USA in the Olympics? Dive into that a little bit next as well on 1080 The Fan.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back in. Bill Riley coming up about 12 minutes. Talk some Utah football. It's always good to talk college football. I can't wait for the year to start. We are less than a week away from NCAA football coming out. Less than a week away, man. It's almost here, baby.
Saw that gameplay footage yesterday. Watched that whole 20-minute video.
Oh, I can't wait.
My hips thrusted hard.
And you know what? Reality is going to hit me on Monday when I get home from work. I'm all excited to play.
Hey, Daddy Dirt.
Ah, that's right. Damn it.
And then we got big.
Damn it.
Swag told me about Big Ten Media Day coming up.
That is around the corner.
I'm going to have to help him out with that. I'm like, dang, you're taking me away from my
time,
Xbox
man.
right after this game comes out.
My time. Don't poop on my dreams. The Team USA is getting ready to go over to France. When did the Olympics officially start, Swag?
I believe it's the Friday. That would be what, Friday, July 26th?
Okay, I've seen about 10,000 ads for it. I should know when it begins.
Opening ceremonies.
They will not stop showing ads.
Soccer usually starts because they have to give them so many days.
Yeah.
It's a big tournament. Soccer usually starts a little bit before the opening ceremonies, but opening ceremonies Friday, July 26th.
Okay. Well, Team USA basketball is getting underway. I did see a just totally random note that we don't really need to discuss, but very surprising. Steph Curry can't spin a basketball on his finger.
Yeah, that was odd. Neither can LeBron.
And neither could LeBron.
Wait, see that?
Like just the you spin the ball and you got it on your feet, neither of them could do it. Huh. And Steph was like very self-conscious about it. He's like, I'm kind of embarrassed right now.
So they were doing their little photo shoot stuff and he slammed the ball down and
they were like, can you spin a ball on your finger? And he was like, I gotta be honest with you, that's one of the few things that I cannot do. And that blew my mind. That Steph Curry, maybe the greatest shooter of all time. Can't spin a basketball.
And one of the best ball handlers.
Yes, an unbelievable ball handler. Can't do that. So if you can do that, you can do something Steph Curry can't do.
USA plays Canada in a little tune-up tomorrow night on FS1.
Bring it on, Canadians. Dylan Brooks, we're going to stuff you in a locker. So they're getting ready to go, and I'm kind of getting into it. I'm trying to follow the Olympics, and all right, let's see how this is going to go, and will Team USA just steamroll and all that. Anthony Edwards had comments the other day, again from our friend Ben Golliver. I believe he was the one that had this audio that went viral. I didn't pull it because you just can't really, there's a lot of background noise and other stuff going on, so you can't really hear it. But he was basically asked, like, how do you fit on this team? How does the hierarchy work? And he had the comment and the quote of, I'm the guy. I'm the number one guy. I don't have to get used to fitting in with anybody else. They got to fit in with me. I'm Anthony Edwards. And
bring your ass.
I love the attitude, and I was thinking about it, and he's got a point.
Yeah.
Like, Steph is still an unbelievable shooter. Outside of that, are we go through the roster and tell me who is the number one option over Anthony Edwards? Are we doing with Kevin Durant after he got swept in the first round of the playoffs?
No.
LeBron at this point in his career, like Drew and Bam, great defensive players. You know how I feel about Jason Tatum, like whatever. Congrats on your $300 million. I don't know if there's a better option to be the number one guy. Devin Booker's not that guy. I'd take Anthony Edwards over him. If you look up and down the entire roster, like people were pissed off and kind of this rubbed them the wrong way. I think he's got a valid argument that he should be the guy. And to be honest with you, for Team USA and just the storylines that can come out of this Olympics, I think it'd be great for the NBA if he is the number one guy, leads them to a gold medal, because he's a great personality that you could really market behind as a league and might become the next face of the NBA, depending on how the next few years goes for Minnesota. So I'm in 100% agreement. I think Ed Edwards is the number one guy on Team USA going into the Olympics in France.
I mean, I feel like I'm crazy, but Michael Jordan was on the Dream Team in '92, right?
He was.
So he was the top option over guys like
that. Was a debate when the Dream Team came
about.
It was him.
Bird,
it was
Magic.
Bird and Magic were not ready to hand off the baton, and Michael came in and was like,
took it.
Dude, it's my team. Like, sit in the back.
And we are now at the end of a season where we just, a month and a half ago made comparisons of Anthony Edwards to the great Michael Jordan. Why would it be anything to, like, how could this even be a story in people's minds of him stepping up and saying this? The fact that this is controversial, especially after his, we'll see you in game 6, I'll have some sneakers for you comment. Like, bro, I hate when you talk out of your ass like that because we know it's not true. What are you supposed to say? Maybe just say, yeah, you're probably better than us and we're just going to go home and I'm going to focus on Team USA. But I like the S-talk. And it does encourage his teammates, I think, just to play harder, too.
Yeah, I'm all for it, man. Do we think they're going to steamroll to a gold medal? I don't know enough about international basketball.
The French team is loaded.
Loaded this year?
They're young, but they're loaded.
Okay.
And they've got...
I know you got
in the coming years, I saw something about there's more like Wemby-like guys that are like 7 feet, 7'2", that have handles and can shoot and stuff. So now I don't know, like Sar Richese, I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong. So yeah, I don't know how it's all going to go, but yeah, France is considered right now the biggest contender.
Okay.
So the big question for Steve Kerr as he puts his lineups together as rotations, how much does he concentrate on defense? Because if he puts like Edwards, Leonard, and Drew Holiday out there as the perimeter guys, and they really try to put pressure on ball handlers and see if they can turn them over and get it out and turn it into a layup line and a dunk fest, do you go that route, or when do you put all the shooters out there? When do you have Durant, Booker, and Steph Curry and Tyrese Halliburton out there at the same time and try to outshoot your opponents?
Okay, so France is a team we got to look out for. I know Luka's always a monster in these international
No, they're done.
tournaments.
Slovenia.
Oh, they didn't make it this year.
So they are out
I
of
saw
the
our guys.
Giannis got his Greek team there.
Okay, is Thanasis playing as well, too, with him?
I'm sure all of the Antetokounmpos are on the roster.
They have to be, right?
I would think so.
Good players. I did see our boy DeAndre Ayton almost led the Bahamas. He was all in on that. They were close. Damn near got them.
The Fighting Michael Thompsons?
The Fighting Michael Thompsons, that's right. Yeah, I'm trying to look. I'm not the biggest Olympic guy in the world. This time of year,
it is more fun that there are more international players of note.
Yes.
Where it's not, I mean, it was fun to see the Dream Team, but they killed people by 50 points regularly.
There's no contest.
So other than Charles sticking a forearm into the Angola center's chest for excitement, there wasn't much drama. There should be a lot more drama.
There should, and it would be an epic failure to not win gold.
Plus,
despite how good some of these
France
international
is playing
teams
at
are.
home, so
that's true.
But some of the stretches to put guys on countries' rosters, like Joel Embiid for the U.S., come on.
I mean, he grew up here. He went to high school here. He went to college here. His kids live here.
I get it. But then at some point,
guy wants to win something, man. Let him win something.
And then at some point, he's going to be like, you know what? I want to go back and play for Cameroon too.
Sure, what the hell? Let him do it. I don't care. He's a dual citizen.
Whatever. Let's actually keep. If you play for one, you can't play for another. And you can't flip flop. And if you were barely born in the country, but then you end up going back there anyway, it's so weird when I see like Joe Ingles ending up. What was it, Israel or something? It's like you were.
Is he playing for Israel now?
I can't remember where he. Australia. Sorry, Australia.
Well, he's from Australia,
he's from
right?
Australia.
See, but when's the last time he lived there?
I have no clue.
Is he always there?
I don't know his personal.
Well, is he still a citizen?
He probably
is, and that's probably not as good of an example then.
If this pisses you off, you should not look into soccer players and how many of those guys are not from France or not from certain countries.
Really?
Oh, God, yeah,
No.
dude. Half those guys are from Africa, and they go get them at young ages.
If your grandparent was born in that country, you can.
I mean,
at least soccer, once you declare. Like you play internationally for one country, I don't think you can go back to another one.
Is basketball not that way?
I don't know. I don't know how the Olympics works.
I mean, I don't even like people running for politics from an area that they aren't from. So that's just kind of how I think. It's like, stick to where you're from, stick to where you are, represent. Yeah, that's all. That's really where that comes from.
Well, it's around the corner, and somebody said, how did it work out against Dallas? It's a team he's young. Like, yeah, I mean, he didn't beat Dallas. This is just a debate about who. I mean, every team has to have.
So
Team
the
USA
US
has to have an alpha
they're
dog.
going to play Canada tomorrow night. And then they will play a showcase game against Australia on the 15th at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Ooh.
They must then go over to Europe
imagine,
to get ready for that. So
I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to get into the Olympics. We'll see how much I end up watching. I'm looking for sports, man. I got Euros going on. I watch a little bit of that. Like I'm trying.
I'm curious to see, and I haven't gone to look at the TV schedule, what they will show. I think we're past the point of tape delay crap anymore because
yes, it'll all be on Peacock.
Yeah, so it'll be 9 hours time difference. Yeah, so that means
could be some early morning games then. Right?
Yeah, I think if you have so that means 9 if they play a 9 p.m. Well, if they play a 7 p.m. game in France, that's 10 a.m. for us. Which should be right in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's perfect. Get off work, get home. Hey,
exactly.
Boom. There's a basketball game on TV. So it'll be on in the afternoon. He said that he's the guy. I don't have any issue with him, man. I love the confidence. I wish that we had a guy on our roster
this is always about
That's the way it works.
How much can they function as a unit, especially defensively.
Yes. And we'll see if they can do it. They should win the gold.
Do that and concentrate on rebounding and getting out and running, then I think they will handle their business.
Yeah.
If they get lulled into, because you can play zone and all of those sorts of things, if they get lulled into just jacking up threes, and then life gets interesting.
They got Drew Holiday. They got Bam. They'll be fine defensively.
I would imagine so. We'll see. It all starts here in a couple of weeks. Let's get to some college football stuff. Bill Riley, our good friend, the voice of Utah, who's no longer doing radio. He's just working for the Utes now,
He's the director of broadcasting for Utah and Learfield.
We got to give him a shout-out on that. He's going to join us because Big 12 Media Days are here, so the expectations for Utah going into their first year in the Big 12, and they scheduled a game against our old friend Mario Cristobal in 2027, so we'll ask him about that as well. Bill Riley is next for the Daily Ticker. First, here's Swag with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan as the Trailblazers prepare for their first Vegas Summer League game Saturday night against the Spurs. Other teams trying to fill out the rosters. The Pelicans grabbed veterans backup center Adam Thies on a one-year deal. The Heat going to bring back guard Haywood Highsmith on a 2-year, $11 million contract. After spurning the offer to take over as head coach of the Lakers earlier this summer, UConn Huskies men's head basketball coach Dan Hurley agreeing to a 6-year, $50 million contract extension on Monday. He's coming off back-to-back national championships in Storrs, Connecticut. Quarterfinal action at Wimbledon this morning. Yannick Sinner, the number 1 seed in the men's draw, tied at a set all with Daniil Medvedev just beginning the third set. And earlier, Donna Vekic came back after losing the first set to qualifier Lulu Sun in the women's draw to beat her and advance to the semis in 3 sets. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swangard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The afternoon round of the 10th Annual Fan Golf Classic, presented by Autotown GMC, is sold out. And the morning round is filling up fast. through the cracks.
Now, before we do this, let's go over the ground rules.
Pelican Brewing presents the Daily Ticker, where Dirt and Sprague visit with the insiders that are covering the stories you've heard about, and some you haven't.
How'd you do that? Actually, I'm not even mad. It's amazing.
The Daily Ticker with Dirt and Sprague is poured by Pelican Brewing. Be ready for your next afternoon vacation with Beak Breaker Tropical. Pelican Brewing, born at the beach.
Daily Ticker time here on a Tuesday, brought to you by Pelican Brewing. Visit pelicanbrewing.com for more details on locations, events, award-winning beers, independently brewed since 1996. Pelican Brewing, born at the beach. The Big 12 Media Days are here. It's that month. It's exciting. I love it. Football's around the corner. And so we thought, let's talk some Big 12 football with our good friend. It's just so weird to say that. Bill Riley, at ESPN 700 Bill on Twitter, but he's no longer a radio guy. Bill, first off, congratulations on the new job. And do you miss daily sports talk radio yet?
Well, first of all, what was hard to say? That I'm a good friend of the program? Was that what you were saying?
No, the Big 12 Media Day,
like I'm a good friend of the program?
Utah and Big 12 Media Day. Is it weird for you? It's still weird for me.
Yeah, I'm still saying Pac-12 a lot. Thanks for that. Yeah, I'm on my second week on the job. I took a position with the university. Still doing radio, just not on a regular basis.
Okay.
Still the play-by-play voice for Utah. I'm helping to create. Every Big 12 school has to create a digital platform to air events. This year we have to do 50. Next year over 100.
Wow.
Basketball, football, women's basketball, soccer, volleyball, baseball. It's basically the Big 12's version of the Pac-12 network. It's going on ESPN Plus, so actually everybody can see it. But every school's responsible for producing the events that happen on their campus. And so I've done a lot of TV in my career as well as a lot of radio. And so they kind of created this position, made a pitch to me. It was one of those, when you get older in life, the fewer opportunities start to be presented to you. This was like a fun challenge. I had a good 30-year run in radio, so I decided let's try this one. And so it's been fun so far.
That's interesting. So when did you find out? Like, was that like a Big 12 mandate when all this started to go down, and they called and said, "Hey, you got to figure out what you're doing here, Utah"?
Yeah, everybody has it. I mean, the Big 12 schools that are currently existing before this merger, they've been doing it for a couple of years now on Big 12. They call it Big 12 Now, ESPN Plus. So it's part of the league mandate. Every school in the league is creating their own broadcast department.
Interesting. Well, it's an awesome new opportunity, a great new gig. It's so exciting to hear that they're going to tackle this, and I'm curious to watch some of these on ESPN Plus when it all begins. It's hard, Bill, not to start in the place of it just simply being weird. Like it's strange for me. I was just mentioning this the other day. We were looking through Big 10 Media Day lineups, and I'm like, we got to interview a coach from Indiana. Who the heck? Okay, quarterback from Northwestern. What are we doing here? What happened to the Pac-12, man? It's a fresh reminder of all this newness. But I will say, not to butter your bread too much here, one of the positives of the downfall of the Pac-12 is now I am allowed and can be able to root for Utah. I love your program. I love your head coach. We love having you on. I'm rooting for you guys in the Big 12 this year. Seems like you're the favorite. A lot of people are back for an extra year. What's the feeling right now in Salt Lake about this team?
Oh, it's good. I mean, they were picked by the media last week as the favorite by just a little nose over at K-State and Oklahoma State. It's a good league. Here's the thing. Utah's coming out of a league where you had Oregon, USC, Washington. Last year Oregon State popped up. I mean, there's no flagship school in this league right now with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. So Utah's got a chance to kind of fill that void. Now, K-State may have something to say about that. Oklahoma State may have something to say about that. But it's really a good spot, especially, as you say, considering what they're bringing back. Cam Rising, who looked as good as he's ever looked this spring, healthy-wise, running around. Brant Keithy's back. They've got more weapons on the offensive side of the football than any time I can remember. Adding Dorian Singer from SC, adding Damian Alford from Syracuse, who's a big target, Carson Ryan from UCLA. It's going to be a fun year this year, and it's also fun on the. I kind of grew up in the old Big Eight. I grew up in Kansas, and I went to the University of Kansas. But the league is got a lot of fun destinations. It's different for the Pac-12 because you're not going to big cities, with rare exception of a Salt Lake City or something like that. Manhattan, Ames, Stillwater, Morgantown, Lubbock. These are not big cities, but what they are is college towns, and people care a whole lot more in these college towns a lot like what Corvallis is and maybe a Pullman is about what's going on with their school in some of the cities. I mean, Utah could be playing USC on a Saturday night. You fly into Los Angeles, nobody knows. There's no there's no buzz about USC and Utah in LA. There just isn't. But when you're going into Ames, you're going into Stillwater, you're going into Waco, there's a buzz about it. So I'm kind of excited for it.
Bill, can you talk about the journey that Utah's had? We're talking about all these new things that you all are experiencing and then that we're experiencing now with the move to the Big Ten here as Oregon fans. But, Utah moving initially from the Mountain West to the Pac-12, now the Big 12. And really, I believe Utah is a great example of just a program moving in the right direction and upping their status better than I can really remember than anyone in the last 20 years, maybe outside of Oregon, obviously vaulting to national status. But Utah really is there in the national conversation way more than they were 12 years ago. So what do you think the biggest difference is from then to now in Salt Lake City?
Well, I mean, obviously they've been a member of a Power 5 league for the last 13 years. I mean, that makes all the difference in the world. The revenue that comes in, the attention that comes in. The transition from the Mountain West to the Pac-12 it wasn't rocky. There was some bumps along the way, but Kyle had actually, they were coming off a year where they beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl and went undefeated 2 years before. They always had a lot of talent. What they had to do was recruit depth of talent. Mm-hmm. You just don't have that at the non-Power 5, the Group of 5 level. So there was a little bit of a rocky transition, but it was only a year or two, and then they were competitive. This is going to be a much easier transition. Now, there's new schools and new opponents, new venues, new cities. But from a football standpoint, Utah's going to go into the Big 12 conference as well. Obviously, the preseason polls say that, but they're on par, if not slightly above, just about everybody in the conference right now. So I think the last 13 years in the Pac-12 have prepared them for this, and I don't think the transition is that great. You just have to learn some new opponents and new styles of play and learn, a little bit about what, Chris Kleiman likes to do at K-State or Mike Gundy likes to do at Oklahoma State. But besides that, I think this transition, not that the last one was bad, but I think this one's going to be a little bit more smooth.
Well, and then you add on top of that, Bill, too, that you get the winner of the Big 12 getting home field advantage potentially throughout the course of the college football playoff. It's just a whole different ballgame this year, which, hey, maybe we end up seeing Utah again. I did bemoan to Sprague, I think, a week or two ago because we shouted you out when we heard the news about the new gig and we were pumped for you. And I mentioned, I'm going to miss having Bill on during the season because there's nobody that comes on our airwaves and riles up both Oregon State fan and Oregon fan more than Bill Riley does the week that Oregon State or Oregon are playing Utah. And so we just got to bring you on like randomly throughout the year, and you can trash our programs. We can get angry at you, and just we got to keep that bit alive a little. The Morgan Scally news. I hope I always mispronounce the last name. I think that's how you say it.
Scally.
Okay,
yeah,
Scally.
Right.
What is surprise there? Does it tell us anything about Whittingham? For those who miss it, he was named as the coach in waiting at Utah. Is there any tea leaves to read there? Or is that just we love this guy no matter how long it takes? He's going to stick around and wait for Kyle.
Well, I mean, his dad played at Utah. He played at Utah. He's only coached at Utah. He's been here over 20 years. So no, he's the coach in waiting. Just that sets and keeps the culture in place. Kyle right now, I think, is just kind of taking it year by year. Mm-hmm. I think he's got the program to the point where he really, really likes it. And it's one of those things where when you've been doing it for 20 years and had great success, it's one of those players run the locker room, coaches run the rest of it. And so I just think that they wanted to have that succession plan in place. You've got the right guy. I mean, there's no more a Utah guy. People say Kyle Whittingham's a Utah guy, and he is. 30 years here coaching and all that other stuff. But he did play at BYU. Morgan Scally, his father played at Utah. He grew up going to Utah games. He was an All-American at Utah and has coached here now for 20 years. So there's no better fit to kind of succeed Whittingham than having Scally do it.
One last word for you, Bill. The last time Kyle Whittingham coached games against Mario Cristobal, I know how that went. And we don't need to rehash those games. I did see the news though of a 2027 opener in Las Vegas, and I want to tell you, buddy, hey, go do it again. Would you just go do it one more time for us, will you? Okay.
Well, maybe we'll have great success if Mario's looking for another job like he was the last time around. We didn't know it at the time, but he had one foot out the door, and,
right.
and I think that explains some things. The way they played in those two games, they were like mirror images of one another.
Maybe not punting to one of the best punt returners in the country at the end of the half. maybe kick the ball out of bounds. Just an idea. What do I know though? I don't know that much.
Yeah,
football.
2 seconds left in the half. Maybe we just kick it out of bounds,
Just
right?
run out of bounds. It's not a big deal. Bill Riley, he's the voice of Utah. Got a new gig with the University of Utah. Longtime radio guy, a good friend of the program. And no, we are not. It's not weird to say that. We love having you on. Big 12 Media Days are getting underway. Congrats on the new gig, Bill. We always appreciate the time, and come rile us up a couple of times this season, okay?
Just call me. And by the way, I'm still waiting on some of that Pelican Brewing beer that you two promised me like 4 years ago.
It's on the way.
You know why I get riled up? Because you two, the duck and the beaver, welch on your bed.
And we left you hanging at Pac-12 Media Day, and I still feel bad about that. All these years later, Bill, that lunch was good though. I still feel bad about that. Beer's on the way. Thanks as always, buddy.
Hey, talk to you soon.
There you go, Bill Riley, the voice of Utah. As it is weird. It's strange. It's weird. It's going to be weird for a while. They though. Like, to your question, Schultze, about where they were going into the Pac-12, like, that's such a big jump for them to go from Mountain West. Now, to his point, still a good program, right? Like, Urban and Kyle, like, they had really good seasons.
Of course. And not trying to knock it by asking that at all.
And now you're going into a league where now you're playing good teams almost week in and week out, right? Yeah. I think you can make a pretty strong argument that this is going to be a downgrade in competition. And I don't mean to be that disrespectful to the Big 12. I think Iowa State could be good this year. Kansas State's going to be a decent little program. Like Oklahoma State's solid, and they got a good offensive line and a good running back. Like, there's some good teams still in that conference, but some of the juggernauts, I don't see an undefeated Washington team. I don't see a team that's as talented as what Oregon was last year or will be this year. Or there's not a Caleb Williams at USC. Like, a lot of those things are out of the way. They are the front runner in that conference, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if Utah is either getting a first-round bye in the college football playoff this year or hosting a first-round playoff game.
What an amazing story that they are in the last 20 years. They're the only program I could think of that's come up this far in conference talk, up to a power Big Five now, and in the national championship conversation. It's what Washington State and Oregon State wish they could have done, and I'm not trying to knock those two schools, but it is just to see that happening in an actual success story. Good job, Salt Lake. Good job, Kyle Whittingham, man. What a program they have.
Yeah, and I wasn't blowing smoke either. I love Kyle Whittingham, dude. I respect the hell out of him, and I'm, it's one of those things of like the Big 12 move. I'm like, dude, I'm glad that I can root for Utah now. I'm going to be rooting like hell for him to beat the crap out of Colorado and win the Big 12. A couple of more college football thoughts I want to get to. We'll get to some broadcasting news coming up top of the hour. Mail sack at 8:15. That was the Daily Ticker, as always, brought to you by Pelican Brewing. Visit pelicanbrewing.com for more details on locations, events. Award-winning beers independently brewed since 1996. Pelican Brewing, born to the beach. Back with some more college football thoughts and Big 12 Media Day talk next on The Fam.
Who's stinking it up?
Woo! Do not go in there.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up, a sports lowlight that's ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Schedule
and to
your
all those people that have chosen to disrespect the player, in this case me, have a good night.
Djokovic thinking he was getting booed at Wimbledon last night. What a sensitive Sally. What are we doing here?
Rich Joker. Man, the tennis.
I'm assuming he won, though?
He won in straight sets. He took the youngster Holger Rune from Norway down.
The tennis and golf holier-than-thou attitude just needs to stop.
Who's thinking it up? Well, he's not. The fans kind of were, but his response was, report brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services, making plumbing and electrical services delightful. Let the pros tackle whatever projects you need completed. Schedule an appointment online. Three Mountains Home Services. That's threemountainshomeservices.com.
Hey, everybody, Sprague here. You're familiar with
and Sprague crunch the hot topics you want to hear.
What's the pressure? Don't sit here and act like there's no... We get nervous teeing off in front of a gallery on the 10th hole at Eastmoreland.
Crunch Time, brought to you by Crunch Fitness, with memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com.
That's right, folks. It is Crunch Time, and it's brought to you, as always, by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch Time in Portland, Vancouver, online at crunch.com. Conference realignment is just going to be very weird, and it's going to take a long time, I think, for people to get used to it. To Bill's point, we were just talking about Bill Riley, the voice of Utah. The Big 12 is a unique conference in terms of it doesn't have a lot of household names. It's got a lot of decent programs and respectable programs who have had, like TCU was in the national championship game 2 years ago. Cincinnati was in the college football playoff with Luke Fickell a couple of years ago. Arizona is supposed to be really good this year, but a new head coach. We'll see how it works. Kansas and Kansas State are always good stories. Gundy's been around forever. They don't have, though, a household, flagpole institution in that conference. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Oklahoma and Texas was, and they can laugh. Texas was not that over the last decade. They finally did it last year, but they were the team that always fell short. They couldn't win that conference.
Stake that claim.
And I think Utah's got a great argument to be made of the way they're positioned, the way they develop. They got guys, like people are joking about Cam Rising being back. Isn't he like 30 years old? Like, yeah, but
possibly.
I mean, they're giving these guys eligibility.
Giving them an advantage then.
He's going to take it. He's coming back, and he's going to be really good. And they added, like Dorian Singer was a really good transfer to come in. I think he was originally at Arizona, went to USC. Now he's at Utah, so he's bounced around a little bit defensively. You always know that they're going to be good. I think the conference is ripe for the dominance for the Utah Utes to go in there immediately, win it this year, and say, we're the team to beat in the Big 12. Good luck keeping up with us. We're bigger than you. We're more strong. They're stronger than you. And we're more physical than you.
Well, they've developed their depth. Salt Lake City itself, the city is quite a high school recruiting ground. I would imagine they could go over and poach out of Denver. Denver's another recruiting ground. So Dion seems to pick and choose. Who knows how long he's actually going to stay there? That's a whole walk. And then Utah's got pipelines into Hawaii as well. And so if they can continue to do there, and we'll see if they can pluck guys out of Southern California, or now they get to go into Texas on a regular basis. Who can they get out of Texas? And you still have the religious pipelines as well too,
for sure,
in Salt Lake City. And so
I think the college football playoff too is going to help them tremendously. Of like you have a pathway there now, and now how long does that format stick? Who the hell knows? They're probably going to change it in 2-3 years, but for now, like, you can sell that if you're recruiting to Utah. If we win the Big 12, we get a top 5 spot guaranteed, or whatever, top 4 or 5, whatever spot. You could have a home field playoff game. You could have a first round bye, depending on your season goes. Like, that's a massive sell to a recruit, of saying, if you want to go to a, maybe not Ohio State type program in the Big Ten, you want to go to a second tier program, you're not going to probably have that opportunity. You're going to have that opportunity here because of the landscape and because of where we're at as a program.
Yeah, it's so fascinating to see this conference, which literally was like the home of Texas football for so long. And I mean, Pac-12 did have a chance at Texas and Texas A&M back in the day. Oopsies. Now they're with the SEC, and it's now funny to see. I mean, I think Texas made a mistake jumping from the Big 12 to the SEC because they kind of gave up exactly what you just talked about Utah kind of stumbling into here. Of course, we know about all these recruiting paths and pipelines, but now literally looking at the rest of the conference, there is no other school that looks as talented on paper as Utah. And going into this season, you can sell to your recruits going forward. We have a guaranteed spot. Why Texas gave that up, I don't know, but Kyle Whittingham essentially has given himself a chance now to go out on top as one of the greatest coaches of all time if he can get to a national championship game. And with this roster, if they can actually put it together,
they got to stay healthy. They got to stay healthy,
and they got to
derailed them last year.
They got to actually keep guys on the field to throw to too. Singer might be a good addition, but
can't have a pig farmer playing quarterback.
No, with their fourth, fifth
so
string,
interesting to see.
With their defense, they'll be good.
With finally the expanded playoffs, if teams to win a national championship have to win 2-3. When you play back to back to back, about a week and a half, they get a few extra days in there. So about a week and a half, 10, 11 days in between games. but you got to play 3 powerhouses in a row to hoist a national championship with the attrition and how all that works.
It's harder than ever to win a national title. It's an uphill climb. I don't know if Utah has that level of talent on their roster. I think they have the talent on the roster to be a playoff team and to win the Big 12.
No question.
And for them, those are good. Like when they won the conference back-to-back years and went to the Rose Bowl, little overmatch in those games. I know injuries had a part of that. When they played Penn State and they played Ohio State in the Rose Bowl in back-to-back years, they're talented enough to get there. I think they're going to get there in the Big 10 pretty regularly, the Big 12 pretty regularly. And a little sneak peek. So in about a month, we're going to start a little less than a month. The Dirty Poll is going to get rolled out. We're going to start doing these city-by-city check-ins. Utah, number 11 in the Dirty Poll. There's your first sneak peek. Just outside the top 10.
I like that.
Right there. A lot of injury-wise, you got to stay healthy. So we'll probably have Bill Riley on again in a bit, do another Utah preview whenever we get to the number 11 team in the country. We got a lot to get to in the final hour of the show. A little broadcasting news. Still waiting on the Blazers to do something. We'll start there. Mail sack coming up at 8:15. I got a couple of more football notes to get to. It is a loaded final hour on a Tuesday. Don't go anywhere. Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Fred Meyer.
Sports station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the Portland Trailblazers Summer League team getting set to head to Vegas. Their first game is Saturday night against the San Antonio Spurs. Meanwhile, other teams still trying to put rosters together for the upcoming season. The Miami Heat will bring back guard Haywood Highsmith on a 2-year, $11 million deal, all guaranteed, while the Pelicans are looking for some depth, grab veteran backup center Adam Thies on a 1-year deal. Dan Hurley, as expected, finally got his contract extension figured out with the University of Connecticut after he passed on the $70 million offer to take over the Lakers earlier this summer. He is coming off back-to-back championships. He'll be there through the 29-30 season. Quarterfinal action at Wimbledon this morning in the men's draw. Top seed Yannick Sinner of Italy won the first 2 sets off 5th seed Daniil Medvedev of Russia, but is currently down a break 2-4, serving in the third. They are just underway in the other quarterfinal. American Tommy Paul taking on the defending champion Carlos Alcaraz, who's down 2-1, down a break in the opening set. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
One number does it all for contests and texting your favorite fan shows. The Vancouver Ford text line is 503-864-6FAN. This is Dirt and Sprague.
I mean, how does a tiger get in the bathroom? He almost killed me.
Hey, bro, you mind putting on some pants? I find a little weird I have to ask twice.
Pants at a time like this, I don't have any.
With Andy Dirt Johnson and Brendan Sprague.
Hey, it's a little too early for being that loud. Hey, too late. It's 0600. What's the O stand for? Oh, my God, it's early.
Dirt and Sprague on 1080.
Okay, I'm gonna get on that. Just give me a minute.
Joyce is very upset.
Flo, we've discussed this. Mornings are for coffee and contemplation. Coffee and contemplation.
The Fan.
Hey, let's do this. Final hour. Dirt and Sprague here on Portland Sports Leader, 1080 The Fan, 99.5 HD2, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube as we are every single morning. Shout out to our YouTube bros. Swag's back, hanging out with Schulte today. Sprague will return tomorrow. A little extended break after the 4th of July holiday. And then we're all off on Thursday because we're going to be hanging out at Langdon for the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic. 10th annual.
Barely under 90 that day.
Yeah, it's going to be nice and cool after this weather. It's going to be perfect. I was a little concerned we got this heat wave. That's the fear. When you go second week of July, you never know what you're going to get. And we just dodged it. We just slid out of the way just a little bit.
Thank God.
So it'll be 100 today and a little bit cooler for everybody out there hanging out with us at Langdon. On Thursday, we got a lot to get to in the final hour of the show. Mail sack coming up in about 12, 13 minutes from now. And go ahead, get your questions into the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. Somebody texting in, are we in Salt Lake? Let's move on. It's July 9th, buddy. What would you like us to talk about?
You kidding me? Is Utah, hey, as a sports fan, no. I'm going to defend you, Dirt, as a sports fan.
It's that time of year, man. It's that time of year.
It's not just that time of year, but that is a fascinating story. And guess what? I'm sorry if you're not a fan of Utah, but you should, as a sports fan, as somebody that can appreciate the fantastic moments that we watch, the randomness, the excitement. It's the greatest reality show on television. That is sports. You've got to acknowledge the amazing job that Utah has done. It hasn't been luck. There have been really good negotiators in there. There have been really hard-nosed guys and gals getting it done correctly in the boardrooms, moving from the Mountain West to the Pac-12 to the Big 12. Guess what Colorado did? They went from the Big 12 to the Pac-12, back to the Big 12. And Utah is an example that every other school in college football should try to follow. If that's not a big story on July 9th or not, in the world of sports, I don't know what is. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
I mean, I could talk college football literally for 3 hours every single day. So if you want me to change the topic, that's probably the wrong show because I could do 3 hours of college football every day. I can't wait for the season to start. I do want to get to this, though, to start the final hour. So this directly impacts me because for the first time in my adult life, I will not have, as currently constructed, the ability to watch Blazer games this year. I cut the cord. I'm a YouTube TV guy.
So no access to Root Sports for you then?
Root Sports is not on YouTube TV. Okay. So, I mean, I can find ways to illegally stream it, but I'm also lazy and I got other stuff going on and I'm not going to go, I'm not doing that. I'm not running through 13 different hoops and I'm sure some tech-savvy bro is going to get upset with me and tell me how easy it is. Joe Fisher is going to come, kicking in the door like he's Hulk Hogan and tell me, nah, you got to go to Stream East and figure it out. Like, that's fine. If you're not on TV, I'm not going out of my way to go find you. You need to come to me as the consumer and Root Sports just is not an available channel anymore. They upped the tier on Comcast. Many people didn't want to pay for it, and their TV ratings last year were down 70%. A lot of people are canceling cable. There was another one announced yesterday that I'm just wondering, like, at what point, if at all, are we going to get this? I know they still have another year left on the deal. The Dallas Stars are the latest team out of the NHL, so get what they're doing. They were, I believe, a part of the Bally Sports group, the Bally Sports family down there, and we know how wonky these local TV contracts are. And I find this story fascinating because we get these sports that are inking these league-wide TV deals that are lucrative, long-term, with a lot of money. But on the back end of it, the local TV deals are drying up, and you just can't make the business behind it work. Teams were getting a king's ransom for these TV deals 5-10 years ago.
Yep.
It's just not happening anymore. So the Stars are realizing this. Bally and Diamond, they're all going, they're going through bankruptcy and all that. Stars president and CEO Brad Albert said this: after years of researching the right solution and careful planning with our partners at APMC, we're proud to announce this pioneering streaming platform that will literally change the game for sports distribution on Victory Plus. Our first priority has always been our fan base, and on Victory Plus, fans will be able to stream 100% of Stars content for free through this innovative and unique streaming platform for sports programming. It's basically going to be an app that you can download on smart TVs, tablets, smartphones starting in September. And as long as you were within the Dallas Stars regional territory, so Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, you can download it and stream it for free in that window. So you can't do this like they're not allowing you to basically in the NHL, I'm sure, put the kibosh on it because they want people to buy center ice if you're not in the Dallas Stars footprint. So if you're in Portland, Oregon, you can't download this and watch Stars games. I doubt that we have many Stars fans out there. But this is another one of those teams that's coming up with a creative new strategy to get their games into the homes of fans. And I don't know how I'm going to do it this year. If the Blazers are not making a move, and people keep telling me that it's going to happen, but they haven't announced anything, and that was 2 months ago. It's July 9th. Training camp's going to report in like September. We're like 2 months away from the start of the season. Summer league's right around the corner. So I don't know how I'm going to consume it. And I continue to be jealous when I see other teams and organizations understanding the priority should be the fans and making this available for your fans and building a bigger fan base so more people can watch your games and being more accessible. The Dallas Stars are the latest one to do it.
Dallas Stars, I believe, are the second or third team after the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA. Matt Ishbia making that move there, I think a couple of seasons ago, because it's the right thing to do for sports fans. In your local markets, you are going, and the Dallas Stars are saying with research, with years of thought and planning into this, they have decided that they are, and I've been saying this for a couple of years now, they are going to be able to make up all of that money. And we're talking, 100, 150, 200 mil, depending on what team you are in what league that you're getting from your regional sports deal, right? So that's that money that you need to make up in merchandise sales, concession sales, ticket sales. And teams like the Stars and like the Phoenix Suns are deciding they can do that, that the outreach to the fan, the access, Dirt, that you're saying, you know what, I just want to sit down, I want to watch my local team. It's different year to year. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. The access in that should not change, at least for local fans. We get the national prices and packages and Sunday ticket and the NHL. I can't remember what their deal is, but like people not watching Dallas games locally are gonna have to pay. That's just the way that it always goes. You know, when I'm living in Florida, I'm gonna have to pay to watch my Mariners. That's fine.
Yes.
This is the way to go. The money can be made up, and anybody saying that, oh no, we need to keep making that $100 million from this crappy regional sports network that has ass programming in between games, that doesn't actually make an effort to get the fan, to engage the fan, and to keep the fan coming back to them. It's just like, well, this is the channel sports we're on. We don't care. We're not going to program it at all. That combined with just taking that money year after year, hand over fist, have gotten them in this situation. And now there are fans like you waiting for local access. And frankly, they deserve that local access for free. It costs me too much time. It costs me too much money to go up to a Blazers game, not just if I live in Portland. Think of the people from Salem. I grew up in Salem. It was an hour each way. My parents had to commit the whole evening after work, and they've got my stupid 12, 13, 14-year-old ass bugging them the entire time. And when you're asking for that commitment from a sports fan on top of $20 more a month to watch games, it's just not going to work.
Right.
Free is the way to go for local teams. We've got to just be able to find them on an app or a channel. That is the future.
And I know we're a year away from this, and that's what the Blazer, the Blazer diehards would tell me. Oh, there's only one more year left on the Root Sports deal. Like and look, Cooper Flagg might end up changing all this. Maybe it's Coop, maybe it's Shaden. Like, you find your next dude, all of this conversation will evaporate.
Yeah.
But I find the upcoming year for them fascinating for a lot of different reasons. One of them, though, just being the fan engagement level. Now, there's always going to be that small percentage that doesn't care how good or bad the team is. We're season ticket holders. I'm going to paint my face red and black for 41 nights a year, and I'm going to be there. Those fans exist in every city, and there's a lot of them in Portland. I don't downgrade that. But the idea that last year you sold your season tickets and your packages prior to the Damian Lillard stuff falling apart. So all of those were inked, and if you had season tickets last year, you were signing on the dotted line and making that deal prior to Damian Lillard demanding a trade. And I don't know how many of the fans would have maybe changed their mind for that. Now, I know there's some reporting, and the folks over at Blazer Brass are saying, well, we're not seeing that big of a downtick. Okay, I'm curious to see what the attendance looks like this year. The fact remains, like, you had a 70% drop in television ratings. A big part of that was because Root was kicked up to a higher tier package on Comcast. And in doing that, a lot of Blazer fans said, wait a minute, why would I want to spend an extra $10, $15, I don't know how much it was, but $10, $15 a month?
I think it was like $17.50
for the extra sports package, so I can watch this team who's going to win 21 games. It's not worth an extra $20 a month.
You talk about attendance in the actual arena staying steady. It's because they were $10, $20 tickets, bro.
As the year went on, yeah.
It's because it was cheap to attend, and
I would say people are offloading their tickets.
As expensive to watch a game on TV for the month. So why not just go to one?
I think it's a big year to just make sure you codify that relationship with the fan base, because as time goes on, like, it can become estranged. And especially if you don't find, like, we just talked about Cooper Flagg, an hour ago. That's the dream scenario, right? You get the number one pick, you draft Cooper Flagg, and here we go. We got our guy. Here's our cornerstone player. We're building around him. There's also a chance that you win too many games, or you fall in the lottery and you get the 8th overall pick. It just happened to you this year. You fell from 4 to 7. It might happen again next year. Tanking is not a foolproof plan to build a championship roster. That's the dangers of it. So whenever I see a team that is willing to put the access to their games for their fans in front of anything else, I'm jealous and I respect the hell out of it, because these local TV deals are not going to exist in, I don't know how many years, but there's a number on it. And at some point we're going to get there where they just can't afford it. And so there's such a big infrastructure for the station, and you got to hire all these people, and you got to have all these cameras and all this equipment. Like, it is a massive commitment. And then they used to be charging, the teams were, these crazy fees in order to broadcast the games. We just had this in Portland a number of years ago. We had NBC Sports Northwest. That was a channel forever.
Yeah.
It disappeared. They couldn't afford it anymore, and the Blazers were charging too much. They said, okay, we'll go to Root, and now they're facing a very similar problem. The fact that this team is saying basically, look, here's the streaming app. We're going to handle all the production behind the scenes. It's very similar to what Bill Riley was saying they're doing in the Big 12 of, like, we're going to put these broadcasts on. They're going to be on ESPN+. That ESPN Plus you have to pay for. This is just a free download. And if you live in that pocket of the country, you can go watch these games. That's the way it should be in almost every single market. Now, if you want to watch out of market, to your point, I'm in Florida, I want to watch the Mariners. I'm in New York, I want to watch the Blazers. That's a different equation. You might have to pay for that, and I'm okay with that. It's what I have to do with the Giants. But in the local TV market, this is the way that it should work. It just takes an owner and a CEO who is willing to put the capital up to make something like this happen. And, oh, by the way, buy out of a TV deal where Jody's like the 4th richest owner in the NBA. Get out of the Root Sports deal. Take care of your fans. But unfortunately, it seems more and more likely that they care more about not making it accessible, so people will have to pay to go watch the team. And I'm just saying be careful with that, because if you're winning 17 games next year, I'm all for the tank strategy. I don't know if it's worth it to buy tickets to go to games later in the season. I'm jealous of the Stars. I think this is the right move, and I hope Portland does something. I'm still waiting on some sort of announcement because the Kraken did this as well in the Northwest, and their games will be accessible to a lot of folks this upcoming season. It'll be great to build their fan base. Let's get to the mail sack. Your questions are welcome. Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. We'll answer them next on The Fan.
It's time for a sports injury report. The injuries and rehab that impact the success of sports teams.
Why?
Brought to you by Rock Orthopedic.
If he shows up in training camp and he's not on the field because of the ankle, then I think we sound the alarm. But as of now, given the fact that he's been able to manage it and play at a high level for 3 seasons, I think, we sort of are left to take him and the team at their word.
To the point from 10 minutes ago, that's Dan Graziano of ESPN. These are the headlines on July 9th. Dak Prescott in a walking boot, now not in a walking boot, maybe a walking boot, not a walking boot. Will he be okay? I don't know. Training camp cannot get here soon enough.
Hot take, Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback in 2025, Trey Lance.
Ooh.
That's my hot take.
Hot take for you this morning. Sports Injury Report presented by Rock Orthopedic, board-certified specialists who diagnose and treat the widest range of orthopedic cases with care and expertise. To schedule an appointment with Dr. Bradford Black, visit rocpdx.com.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
You see Netflix did a Nickelback
There is a
documentary?
Nickelback thing.
Dude, I'm watching it.
I'm kind of curious.
I'm watching it.
Because everybody in their cars is singing along right now.
Yes, you are, because it's an absolute jam. And Nickelback is awesome.
Nickelback and give me some hard
Hey,
rock.
thank
Nobody
you.
likes it, but we all love it, yeah.
Well, I was joking sometime when the Vancouver team comes down to play the Hops that we take the same Nickelback song and just cut up different bars for the walk-up for the entire team.
That's a good idea. I like that. That's smart
Especially
right there.
since the Hops went up there and got swept in 6 games.
Oh, a 6-game sweep?
Yeah, but, yeah, it was not
brutal.
pretty.
Well,
Hell of a way to start the second half.
Yeah, welcome back, boys.
Somebody better get the look at this photograph. Just
Dude,
to
it's a
lead
jam.
off. Oh
It's
my
an
God.
absolute jam.
Yes, please.
Nickelback is great. I will not stand for the slander.
I've been to a Nickelback concert.
Yes, you have.
God.
Back in the Cougar days.
Back when I was in the Cougar Den.
I'm in the studio with 2 Nickelbacks.
Bring gas.
Let's go.
I'm fired up, dude.
Wasn't
I'm
a bad show.
Thank you. It's
There
not
you go.
bad. It's became a joke, and it shouldn't be a joke. They have some good songs. It's okay to acknowledge that. Your man card will not be revoked.
Some people do like them. They are popular
They
for
are,
a reason.
yes.
It
They
is-
sell out
They
arenas.
sold a few albums and tickets.
Yes, they have. Yeah, I saw that the other day that the Netflix documentary looks like a lot of fun. I did a couple of thoughts here, and then we'll get to the mail sack quickly. Somebody said it should be noted that Root going up to a different package was a Root choice, not a Comcast choice.
But who owns?
Who owns Root Sports? Exactly. Root
Ding, 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 ding. My Seattle freaking stupid
Wait, are you
Mariners.
telling me the Mariners are cheap? Are you telling me that they're a cheap organization? That Root Sports was not willing to pay the price to stay in the current package? Yeah, I mean, that's why it ended up being a bad deal for the Blazers. Another one from one of our P1s said, I did a research project on blackouts in college, and the lack of interaction for local teams. The TV contracts mean guaranteed money for the teams, but if you expand the availability of the team to the local people, the more people that are exposed to a team and engaged with the team, the more money they will spend on the team. Convinced that you would be able to make up that money from TV contracts through the increase in engaged fans. And that is the sum of the entire argument here of stop being so short-sighted and realize that making your games more accessible will create more excitement, more interest, more fan support, and maybe people will watch a game on TV for free and say, hey, that looks like let's go to a game. That looks like a lot of fun. I want to go. I've had this idea in Major League Baseball forever when they just did the Negro League thing a couple of weeks ago down in Birmingham.
Rickwood
Field.
And I know we've talked about this on the show before, Swag, but I am adamant, like in your pocket of where you are. So we would technically be like the Mariner pocket. You should play one series a year in a random minor league ball. Like, just go to a random city.
Oh my
go
God.
play. It's somebody as a divisional opponent, whatever. Somebody's close. Don't make the Yankees go to like Hillsborough. But like, you're playing a series against the A's. Go play at the Hops ballpark.
Yeah.
And how quickly do those tickets sell out? They're standing room only. How much excitement is there to see a major league game? And how many young fans do you generate by just having the chance to be like, dude, there's Julio Rodriguez. I know it's not that far away, but it's a lot different going 30 minutes to Hillsborough than it is 3.5 hours going to Safeco.
Well, the first issue is you have to have, there are requirements from the Players Association and whatever, the amenities that you have to have in a facility.
I get it.
That's tough. Now,
the Blue Jays played in a AAA ballpark for like 2 years during COVID.
With the reorganization
going
of
2
Major League Baseball, like when the Hops build their new stadium and all of the amenities are in with weight facilities and training rooms and all of that stuff, you could do it. But I remember when the Portland Beavers, when I grew up, there used to be the Pirates when they would come through. They were the Pirates AAA affiliate. They would come through on a West Coast swing. They would play the Dodgers and Giants, and they would have a day that they would come up and play the AAA team.
How cool was that to see?
And there's the legendary story of Willie Stargell hitting one into the Oregonian building across 18th there.
And how many Pirates fans were probably created because of that? Because it's a big league team in Portland. You're like, dude, it's the Pirates. We are family Pirates.
So
awesome.
Especially the AAA teams. Like, there's no reason the Mariners can't go down to Cheney Stadium down there and play the Rainiers.
Tacoma.
So I don't know, man. People are texting in about that too. Lots of cool stories about the Pirates when they used to come to town.
That was great.
Yeah, to me, growing fan bases should be in the. You're in the business. This is a business. Let's make it more accessible. I digress.
It just seems like, from my view, and I'm no expert, but access does feel like it's the barrier to interest for a lot of fans, or really just in general for anything you're getting into, right?
Well,
if I want to learn how to play guitar, I need to access a guitar, and I'm gonna be a hell of a lot likely to get into that if I could get a guitar for cheaper, or somebody hands it down. And if I can watch Blazers games for free, I'm more than likely going to talk about them the next day than if I'm having to pay extra, or my parents are, and I'm having to seek them out.
We're so flooded. It's so easy to find sports content, whether it's games, whether it's podcasts, whether it's gambling, whether it's whatever. You have to make it as easy as possible for people to find your content.
You do?
We're way overstimulated. I can find a game anytime, anywhere, whatever. So.
Oh yeah, no, the paralyzation of choice is real. It's true.
So you have your diehards that are going to seek your stuff out, but that's a finite group.
Yeah. I agree. Let's get to the mail sack, and let's see what we got here today. Mail sack question. Rob caught COVID in Vegas for the third time.
Is it third or fourth?
He's got the immune system of a 95-year-old.
I mean, what are we doing here? How many times would your favorite destination have to give you COVID before you stopped going?
I've
never had COVID.
Neither have I.
That I know of, at least. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I did at a spreader of two spreader events. One was the LSI, like right after we were starting to come out of COVID.
Yeah.
The other one was when I went to Hawaii. I think it was last Christmas for the pilots when they were in that holiday tournament.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you caught
Honolulu.
COVID down there. That's right. On the way back.
And so, got to be honest, that wasn't the worst week to have COVID.
Not a bad week. Not a
right
bad week.
Between Christmas and New Year's. Sorry, guys, I can't come in. Sorry, Schultze.
Screw you, but I do want you to get better.
Who wants to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning the week after Christmas? Thanks. It is so true. Like when you get it, I mean, obviously you want to be okay health-wise, but most people obviously are.
It was like I had a
but you can't. I mean, that's the way it still works. You got to let people know, and then you can't go anywhere. I still don't necessarily, and I don't know, maybe this is bad. I shouldn't admit this. Maybe some people don't care. Like how long does it take for you to test for COVID? When was the last time you tested for COVID? I haven't been sick
more
in a
frequently
while,
because the missus is hypersensitive.
Hypersensitive with it.
Yes. My wife has asthma, so if I do feel something, I want to make sure that
you don't have it. Yeah.
It's just more so to protect her. Yeah. But if I had to get COVID.
Three times, yeah. Is there a destination that you would stop going to if you got it 3 times?
We were actually just talking about it. My heaven is Waikiki Beach, the Marriott Resort and Spa, right on Waikiki Beach, where they used to play that Pro Bowl sand game where Edwards busted his knee up. But
I can do without Waikiki.
I would
way too many damn tourists.
Oh, shut up! It's amazing. Are you kidding me? All of those ladies in those bikinis. Are you kidding me? That is the most beautiful beach in the world, with some of the most beautiful half-naked people on it in the world.
Maui over Waikiki every day of the week.
Go down to Duke's, have a nice dinner. No. I'm all about that. I would keep getting COVID and just return.
Keep going.
I think that would be an indefinite leave. You'd probably have to kill me.
Yeah, I mean, I think most cases of COVID are pretty mild, at least as long as it's that. You're not like long COVID and dying.
I think at this point.
You're getting like a stuffy chest and some sniffles. Like, get to work. What are we doing? Mail sack question. How will conference realignment impact the coverage of both local teams this year in college football? I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I will say on our show, I know Sprague is not, I mean, he is, there's a deep down depression for a lot of Beaver fans, and I don't blame any of them for feeling that way. I will not change the way that we cover it. I mean, we try and be as balanced as we can. I did recruiting segments on Oregon and Oregon State yesterday. It was big news for both of them. On Mondays, we will come in and recap the Oregon game, recap the Oregon State game, preview the games every Friday. It will not change for us.
The interest in the angles, I think, will change. In terms of how you approach both of them. Nationally, the Ducks have the potential to blow up even bigger than they've been in the Pac-12.
Yes.
And that Ohio State game, as long as nothing fluky happens to either team before it in Eugene, will be a scene that Autzen has not hosted.
It's
ever.
It's obviously going to be a different story with all of the new opponents that Oregon's playing. I mean, Ohio State coming into Autzen Stadium this year, just that kind of stuff now happening on pretty much an annual basis.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool to talk about. And then on the Beavers side of things, I do want to keep talking about them in the same way. I think it's important to try to prop them up as much as possible because Beavs, Cougs, they are good programs that if they can hang around for a couple of years in national relevancy, they're going to be fine. I do believe that the Big 12 or if the ACC, it'll probably break up. But
the ACC is going to crumble.
It will, but that type of conference or the Big 12 will end up grabbing them here in a couple of years. And I know it's going to be a tough haul, but I am excited to keep that excitement, to keep that. I feel like it's my responsibility to try to let people know, like, hey, Oregon State is still a viable option here, despite college football and its chaos.
Well, their fans are still listening too, so that's the whole thing for me. Like, we want to do a show that on topics that we're excited about and passionate about, and then the fans are. And so there's still a lot of Oregon State fans that listen. We're not going to stop talking about them.
My dad's not less interested in them this year because they're in the Pac-2 now.
No, and like to the larger point, like the week of October 12th, will we talk a little more Oregon, Ohio State than Oregon State, Nevada? Like, yes, but there will still be conversations every single week. I don't think it will change much throughout the course of the year. We got a couple of the quick ones in here. Mail sack question: did you see Zach Edey 15-15 with 4 blocks?
Hell yeah, it was in the open of the show, baby.
Does it add pressure to Klingon for his first game on Saturday?
Of course, because he's facing. Well, are they going to play? They're not playing Wemby in Summer League, are they?
No. Isn't he? He's playing.
Well, he's playing for the French national team.
No,
so.
He's not. He's not.
So I don't know I don't know who the big is.
Well, I don't know who the big Edey was going against. You should dominate in this if you're a 7-footer. So I don't know. Pressure is the right word, but if you went for 15 and 15,
Edey.
You're immediately going to look for Klingon
on the lane, splitting the defenders, tipping it into force OT.
Klingon's going to go like 1 for 6.
I'm so rooting for Edey this year.
It's going to be a fun subplot for the show for sure.
Klingon's going to go like 1 for 6 from 3, and Blazers fans are going to be like, there's the 3-point shot. We see it.
We knocked one down.
How long before the Myers Leonard?
Oh, God.
Come on, Swag. Don't go there.
Let's give us a few months.
Come on. Give it a little bit of time.
That's my fear.
Yeah, I didn't see. Who were they playing last night?
I forgot who they were playing.
Because I did not watch any of that. I saw the headlines.
I just saw the highlight and all that. I'm just rooting for that kid. I mean, he's worked his tail off. Like, the narrative's nothing he created.
No, it's not his fault.
I want him to be successful.
Not his fault at all. Let's get one more in here quickly. Mail sack question: if you were to put together a 1080 The Fan Bro Olympics, what events would be involved, and which personality would be the favorite to win?
I've often thought about the Barroom Olympics.
Barroom Olympics, yeah.
You have pool, you have foosball, darts, shuffleboard.
Yes. Okay.
Golden
cornhole
tee,
now.
cornhole.
Yeah, cornhole's got to go there.
Yeah.
Golden tee's a good call.
Horseshoes, maybe even.
Yeah, I mean, if you did, I think that's. I like that idea more so
Ping
than like
pong.
a Bro Olympics.
Yeah.
I would not win. I would definitely not bet on myself. I'm not a very good pool player. Shuffleboard, I'm okay.
Shuffleboard, I play well. Darts, yep.
I suck at all of them. If we're talking Bar Olympics, I'm
terrible at ping pong. I'm not a good ping pong player.
If it's like a drinking game,
foosball would have to come back. Well, you could do some beer pong. Maybe that's the 10th event. You don't want that early.
Final leg of the challenge.
Final leg, yeah.
Slip some Miller High Life in my cups. Let's go. I'll outdrink anybody. Serious.
Rop would be solid.
Yeah, he'd be the leading candidate probably to win.
Maybe Dusty.
Yeah.
I could see Dusty.
I feel like Suk would be a good
I think
player.
Buckley would be a dark horse.
Underrated call right there. Underrated pick. That's a guy who knows how to, like, darts and pool. Buckley's had some darts and pool in his life. That's a good call right there. Underrated pick.
Oh, Rusty. Rusty would be up there.
You think
Rusty?
Rusty?
He worked as a bartender.
He
so
did.
I believe, just like Rop, he's probably got those skills.
That's true.
Have ringered a few guys here and there.
This is very true. Well, there you go. They played the Jazz, by the way, last night. Thank you to the text police who immediately jumped on that. They played the Jazz last night.
And thank you for watching that game.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I did see the highlight. I knew he was trending on Twitter, and it is going to be a fun subplot for the show all year. How does Zach Edey play?
Last night actually took an off night from the sports. Well, I
took
watched
an
Wimbledon.
Off night?
I watched Wimbledon in the morning.
What is wrong with you? Are you okay?
Well, I was cooking.
You watched The Bear? Have you started The Bear yet?
I did not watch The Bear.
Okay.
3 episodes in.
Yeah.
Initially, the wife said, "Oh, can we watch a movie after we ate?" but then her head was bugging her, so we actually stumbled into Anchorman was on one of the whatevers. And
Always
so,
a good go-to.
So you're like, okay, let's just
we can watch
A
this.
quick note about the bear. The episode 1 of season 3 made me feel like I was tripping acid the entire time. Didn't understand that entire half hour.
Yeah, it was a lot of going back, going forward, not a lot of dialogue. People have been critical of this season of The Bear. This is not going to turn into a Bear review. I find it, I love it.
I mean,
every season's a little bit different. Not everyone's going to be exactly the same. I feel like it's kind of going the Ted Lasso route for some people, where it felt like season 1 was such a hit.
Yeah.
Season 2 maybe a little watered down, and then some people didn't like season 3, but it's hard to duplicate that year in and year out. I love the balance of serious moments, tense moments, and comedy that comes with it. And so I haven't finished the entire season. I think I'm with you like 3 or 4 episodes in. But I don't know. I'm a big fan of it so far.
I think the immediate change, I won't give away the storyline, but what they're trying to do this season kind of shocked me because it was so different than what they did in season 1 and 2, and it's different than, God, I can't remember his name. I'll just say Lip from Shameless.
Yeah,
because that's who I remember his character. It was definitely shocking, but I haven't given a reason or found a reason to give a bad review on it yet.
Yeah, somebody texting in too. I truly hope you do still continue to occasionally talk about the Cougs during college football season, despite the Pac-2 status. We'd definitely appreciate it if you do. We absolutely will, man. We'll cover all the 4 Northwest schools: Washington, Oregon State, and Washington State. To me, it's not going to change. I don't know what it'll be like in 5-10 years, but at least in the short term, man, that's not going to change. We will still talk about them. We'll have some Cougar hits throughout the course of the year. All right, we went a little long there. Let's get to a Sports Center update back after this on the Fan.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. Grab your meat for grilling season. Save 10% on your Butcher Shop order when you dine in. Menus at laurelhurstmarket.com. First on The Fan. Summer League down in Vegas, getting ready for the Blazers' first game Saturday night against the Spurs. Other teams still trying to put their rosters together for the upcoming season. The Heat going to bring back guard Haywood Highsmith, 2 years, $11 million, all guaranteed. The Pelicans grabbing veteran backup center Adam Thies on a 1-year deal. Dan Hurley finally got his contract extension signed with the University of Connecticut after back-to-back national championships. He spurned the Lakers' offer earlier this summer. He'll get 6 more years at $50 million. Surprise in the golf world, PGA of America announcing Keegan Bradley will serve as captain of the 2025 U.S. Ryder Cup team for the matches to be paid at Bethpage Black. Many thought it would be Tiger Woods' time to captain. Quarterfinal action at Wimbledon this morning in the men's draw. Yannick Sinner, the top seed, took the first 2 sets in his quarterfinal against 5th-seeded Daniil Medvedev, who just grabbed the 3rd set, going to the 4th. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand at the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
When the big show music hits, you just know. Big broadcasting news today. Joe Tessitore is going to WWE. Seems like a good fit for him. Boxing guy. I love Joe Tessitore. I know I'm maybe a little out in left field on that.
No, he's awesome.
I love him calling football games. I don't know. He's got great pipes. I always think I used to play the old, the boxing video game.
Yes.
And he was the voice of that Fight Night or whatever it was called. Used to play that back in the day. I've always been a big Joe Tess guy. He's going to wrestling. Joe Tessitore, man, branching out.
I caught him, I think, 3 times at the urinal at Autzen Stadium this year.
Because
he was
calling pat.
Yeah, I didn't. I
No,
do not.
No butt pat. You give him a little tap tap.
No, nor did I even say hi to him at the sink because I do not believe in. No, I don't believe in bothering famous people in the bathroom. They need a second to, to
You didn't
collect
ask for
themselves.
a selfie in the toilet? You didn't say, hey, we're taking a leak, Joe. Let's take a selfie, man.
Hey, post-dump selfie,
Right here,
what
dude.
up?
Put that thing on Instagram. That's what I'm talking about.
That's the kind of stuff that gets millions of hits.
Oh, God. We will get to, I believe, are the Euros going on today? Is it today Euro Day, semifinal day? Yes, it is. Shaking his head. Okay, so we'll get this. Right. We'll get the swag update on the Euros to close out the final segment of the show. There was a bit of news that came out broadcasting-wise, and as I mentioned about an hour ago, you dare me to talk college football, I will talk college football. I could do it for 3 hours a day. Don't you test me. Lee Corso is still going to be on College Game Day this year.
Yes.
Still going to be on. Now, let me ask you this.
I think it's going to be very limited.
I hope it's just mascot head at the end of the show. Like, that should be the only time you bring him out, he puts on the head. Hey, there you go.
Maybe they do a taped segment here or there. I guess the question is he going to travel with them or not?
He's 88.
It sounds like he's going to. So it sounds like he's basically like, I'm going to do this till I die. It's basically his quotes on this of like, I'm not leaving. And look, I don't blame him for that. Like, you got however many days left. He loves doing it. He should not be a part of the conversation during the show. He should not be on the panel breaking down games.
They got Saban for that.
And that's the other follow-up here is like, I find Pat McAfee very entertaining. I know he rubs some people the wrong way. I think it's a fun brand of sports talk that doesn't take himself too seriously. It's lighthearted.
Wearing a shirt, I like it.
I truly enjoy it. I don't need more people screaming hot takes at me. Like, I'm a laid-back sports fan. I just want to have some fun. That's the way I try to approach a show, even though I do end up yelling as well sometimes. So I'm a big fan of Pat McAfee on game day. I think he's been a great hire for them. They're adding Nick Saban. Is Nick Saban enough to get people, if you didn't watch game day, to watch College Game Day? Because Nick Saban as an analyst is going to be awesome.
Oh, he's going to be fantastic. If you really want to understand more about the games and what's going on in developing a program and what coaches are working on during the week and all of those sorts of things, he'll be great. I think he'll be good though I think he'll be good for Pat McAfee. I think he'll fire back at Pat.
Yes.
I think that now he has been a regular
brings like a
guest.
more serious nature to the show.
Yeah, but he's been a regular guest with McAfee on his radio/TV show over the years. So they have a good rapport, but they are comfortable maybe going back and forth and making fun of one another, which I think will be good.
Yes.
And so it'll be interesting to see how Herb Street then interacts with all of them.
Somebody said not to get political, but Lee Corso probably saw last week's debates and figured, hell, if these guys can be president, I could do a TV show on a Saturday.
Oregon. Why, Lee? Because. That's all right. Thanks, Lee.
Look, his shtick of putting on the mascot head is still fun, and as long as that's his role, whatever.
Well,
sure.
it's still part of, we all say, okay, it's great. We might get better matchups on a regular basis in college football with these mega conferences, but we are losing the tradition and the pageantry and all of those sorts of things. Him putting on the mascot at the end when they're picking games,
that's fine.
That's part of it. That's okay. It's a 3-hour show, so if he has a segment or two, okay, that's fine.
Not a huge deal.
But yeah, it just whatever his condition is or whatever. He just can't keep up with the conversation right now when they get into the analysis of games and stuff. And it's not that I think he still can think the game and just for whatever reason he can't.
I mean, he's old. I think he's had a couple of strokes. It just doesn't quite come out.
It doesn't. It's not.
So
I'm not trying to make fun of him. It just doesn't sound that good.
No, it's not, and it's not. They have overused him definitely in the last
Yeah.
handful of years. Where it's like, why is he a part of these picks? Why is he doing this segment? Why, like, he just can't really add anything to the conversation.
I'll be curious to see if Saban does the picks or if Nick will come out and Lee will go in, because they'll still have the celebrity picker, and I don't know how comfortable Nick is maybe doing that.
Picking
Not that he
against teams
wouldn't,
or coaches,
but
Oh, he's going to have some fun. Like, this is a perfect transition point, right? Like, you go kind of Lee, maybe a year or two left, whatever you see, and then Nick Saban coming in, giving all that Bill Belichick-like analysis we saw on NFL Draft Day. Like,
oh, he was so good for the draft,
yeah,
man.
college Game Day, which was already one of the best programs, is about to get better. And involving Lee in a minute way that he's been, with increasing, Nick Saban's role in that. I mean, yeah, it's a great transition.
We get Nick Saban putting on mascot heads? Is he the next Lee Corso?
Yes, please.
that we will not see.
His serious ass putting on a mascot head and
McAfee's more
waving.
likely to do that than Saban.
Let's get Lou Holtz out there while we're at it.
Oh, good old Lou. He's still sticking around. Speaking of Belichick, did you see the picture of him the other day that went viral of him and his girlfriend?
Oh, I showed my wife. I'm like, hey, there's
She was
24-year-old
taking a
Jordan
picture
Hudson
of him.
with 70-some-year-old Bill Belichick.
Let's go, Bill. Still
Hey,
got it, baby.
And then the next picture where
Good
she's
for
got
Bill.
her hand so lovingly on his man boob.
Yes, let
I'm
Bill
like,
live his life. Let the man be.
Her ex-boyfriend was 64 years old. I don't know if you read that.
Oh, I did not know
She's
that.
into the olds.
She's into the olds.
She's
huh?
into the olds.
All right,
Kind of like what's her name, Noor Alfala, who just had Al Pacino's kid last
Ah.
year. Yeah. Those those 20-some-year-old girls that are into the olds.
Well,
There you go.
It's never too early to start looking forward. Game Day will be live from College Station, Texas for Week 1. We get Texas A&M hosting Notre Dame. You get Elko going against his former quarterback, Riley Leonard. Cannot wait. It'll be here before we know it. And Lee Corso will, again, be a part of College Game Day this year. But I think Saban's going to make that show awesome, and I love McAfee. So should be a fun one to watch this year in a big college football season looming. Let's wrap it up. We'll get Swag's thoughts on the Euros. Close it up. Get you set for your Tuesday in sports next on The Fan.
Built for
to the man that's made a difference in my world.
This is Dirt and Sprague on 1080 The Fan.
All right, final one for us here today. Sprague will be back tomorrow. And then don't forget Thursday, we're going to be live out at Langdon Farms for the 10th Annual Fan Golf Classic presented by Autotown GMC. Whether you're playing or not, come hang out with us, man. I think everything's sold out. We're just going to be packed. It's going to be awesome in Langdon. Matt's Barbecue is going to be there to serve their award-winning food. All the craft beverages will be there as well. Our good buddies at Pelican will be out there. Victor Rico's Mexican Food's got the breakfast burritos in the morning.
We'll do the club swap.
Yeah, the club swap for swag. You can warm up on the Michelob Ultra driving range. And we're going to be hanging out at the Dewar's 6th hole. I'm just calling it that, the Dewar's 6th hole. It's going to be a great day. So come hang out. Bring any extra clubs you got, and it'll go to a really good cause.
The question is, will there be doers on the Dewar's?
I would imagine there will be doers on the Dewar's 6th hole. I would imagine. And we will be, Sprague and I will be, and all the other hosts, we're like commandeering golf carts and just driving around the course all day.
That's the best thing.
I'm going to bring a driver. I'm bringing my driver.
Okay.
And I'm bringing my 56-degree wedge because I believe that's the club I need for number 6. What's it, about 100 yards?
It's about 100 yards.
About 100 yards, give or take.
Up front, it's like 95 to 100. If it's in the back, it's closer to 110.
Okay. I can hit. 56 can handle that. Either way, a little bit harder.
Should be a little
bit
easier than last year. I'm not expecting much wind. The wind,
it's just gonna be hot.
You had to really hang it out there on the left because they had that pin tucked by the bunker last year.
That is true. They did.
And it was hard to get it within 10 feet.
Tough pin placement. Now, I don't want to brag. Last year, I want to say I went like 5 for 5 hitting greens. Because people, we let the group go through, and then
I was
people
out
would
there
hit.
quite a bit in the middle of the day.
You were.
I was hitting shots all over the place, and I was about 60% getting it on the
green rate. Yeah, I only did 4 or 5 because if a group came through and nobody hit the ball on the green, it'd be like, hey, celebrity shot, sure, we'll help you out, and we hit one on the green for you. We'll try and hit one on the green for you. But I also want to carry my driver around just to swing out of my ass a couple of times. I see a group on a tee box. Let's see how far I can hit this.
I want to see dirt. I want to see you falling over, like taking
swing.
Just taking that big old swing
barefoot because I'm I'm wearing flip flops
so you
out
can
there.
drive the green on one.
Ooh, I can't quite get there on one. The one that you can kind of reach, 4, I think? The short par 4 after the downhill par 3.
with the Valley of Death on the left.
Yes, that they removed all the bunkers, thankfully, so it's a little bit easier to get out of there now.
Yeah.
But that's the one you get after that one a little bit. That's a fun driving hole. So it's gonna be a good time Thursday.
You don't want me swinging for you. I took 5 shots last year, whiffed all of them, but I'll have a
whiffed. You have 5 whiffs.
Not
like, you got no contact.
I got contact, but it was like
not going in a good direction
or more than like 20 yards. It was awful.
Right.
You don't want me to take a swing for you, but I'll have a drink with y'all. Absolutely.
There you go. It's gonna be a blast. Come hang out on Thursday. Before we get to Swag's Euro takes, I don't know if anybody can make sense of this. Weber State men's basketball sent out a tweet. This was yesterday.
Okay.
And it said, happening today, the unveiling of a horse in honor of Wildcat legend Damian Lillard.
Forgot they were the Wildcats, honestly.
And the tweet said, you were invited to the Damian Lillard horse unveiling.
Okay.
Is it a statue? Did they buy an actual horse?
On a horse on the statue?
He's not on a horse. I don't think he was there. They have some sort of horse that was unveiled to honor Damian Lillard. Is there a backstory? They're the Wildcats.
I don't know.
Yeah, is there like a line of horses that they've got named after other players, and this is like their? This is weird. I'm not. This is this.
You'll have to investigate and report back tomorrow.
I need to. Okay, so here's the video. Wildcat great Damian Lillard will now have a horse in downtown. It's a statue of a horse.
Okay, and the horse is named Damian.
And the horse is named Damian Lillard.
Okay,
so
weird.
Your move, Jody. When do we get a horse statue out front of the Moda Center?
Love seeing him honored. That's just one of the wackiest ways I've heard any athlete honored.
Interesting one. We got Euro semis today.
Yeah, so at noon,
España!
Spain and France. Go with Spain.
We're going with Spain today?
Spain's the only team that consistently has put the ball in the back of the net.
France has not scored a goal.
They've scored penalties. They had an own goal, but they have not scored a goal in the run of play. Take France. Also tonight, 5 o'clock, first semi of Copa, Argentina and Canada. Argentina beat Canada 2-0 in group play.
Okay.
Canada playing much better as the tournament has gone on.
Are they better at soccer than us? What happened there?
Right now they are.
What the hell happened,
At least
dude?
the men are.
What the hell's going on? I'm gambling 0-0 regulation tie, Spain, France. Can I gamble on that?
Spain will score a goal in the course
They will?
of play.
I'm
Yes.
going 0-0. Francis D. They're the Iowa of soccer, Swag. The Iowa of soccer.
That's got to be like a plus 300 payout.
I got nothing else to do today. I'm going to watch some soccer. There you go. Bill Riley, great. He was awesome talking Utah football. If you missed it, go check the podcast, 1080thefan.com, at Durden Sprague and at 1080thefan. Schulte, thanks for hanging out with us today, buddy.
Thank you,
Always a
brother.
pleasure. Sprague will be back tomorrow, and that will do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for watching on YouTube. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. We'll talk to you at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Colin is next. You're listening to 1080 The Fan.
I'm KJ Carson, helping you beat